اكتسبت وعليها ما اكتسبت ربنا لا تؤاخذنا إن نسينا أو أخطأنا ربنا ولا تحمل علينا إصرا كما حملته على الذين من قبلنا ربنا ولا تحملنا ما لا طاقة لنا به واعف عنا واغفر لنا وارحمنا أنت مولانا فانصرنا على القوم الكافرين صدق الله العلي العظيم
مرحبی به خدا ختم الانبیاء بآواز بلندتر صلوات
اللهم صل على محمد
اللهم صل على محمد. Jazakallah, brother. Assalamu alaikum to everybody who has joined the call on time. Thank you very much. We've just had the recitation of some of the verses of the Holy Quran by brother Mustasin. We'll quickly go through what's on the agenda today, some house rules, and get cracking through the heavy agenda. It's going to be quite a challenge, approximately 2 hour long, what would probably take 4 hours. We're trying to condense it for you on this national conference, as we understand, remaining on a Zoom conference for probably more than an hour and a half, and still remaining awake is quite a challenge. So we're going to try and do that for you, inshallah. Right, so as you can see the agenda, we are going to go on to a recital of Naat by brother Waqar Haider. That's a mistake on the slide. I will just quickly go through the agenda, and then we will move over to brother Waqar. So the core subject, as you can imagine, is around COVID-19. It's had a huge impact overall worldwide, especially in the UK. We've seen huge amounts of deaths, etc. So a lot of the content is around that. We're going to talk about some of the online religious services that have popped out and transformed as a result of that. There's been a major change in the organ donation law, which we were all expecting, but we need to clarify this for the center management, so that they can center management scholars and the community, so that they can inform their members accordingly. The key question around reopening, what's required to reopen, we're going to touch on some of the key elements there. After that, there's going to be a very important segment where the funeral services during COVID-19 will be the focus. Of course, with all of the precautions that need to be taken, it has been quite challenging. So we have got a good piece on that for you. Inshallah, will be informative. Also, in between, obviously, there will be another mankabat, inshallah, to keep you all satisfied. A financial support segment. Again, the government has rolled out many schemes for various parts of the society, so we'll be touching on those. followed by a brief update on some of the key services that have launched or are due to be launched by Majlis Ulama. We are going to have a question and answer session, approximately 15 to 20 minutes long. There was an expectation of having Agha Hujjat al-Islam wal-Muslimin, Agha Ali Alami, on the call. He sends his apologies, but he has sent his message on a video. So we will listen to a segment of his video, inshallah, at that point. We'll be closing off with the President's speech with Maulana Ali Raza Rizvi, and followed by a short message by Maulana Fida Bukhari regarding exams, and ending with the dua. So that is the agenda for today. So quick house rules. Obviously, we're not meeting face to face, but there are still Zoom etiquettes. I won't take too much time on this. Regarding engagement, we don't want this to be a one-way only. So we have opened the chat box. So if you have any questions at any time that you would like to ask any of the ulama from the Central Cabinet of MUS or any one of the presenters, feel free to put that in the chat, and it will be picked up in the Q&A section. Also, throughout this, we're going to be, between the segments, we'll be popping up a poll, which will allow you to give instant responses, and we can see what engagement level is during the meeting. And the only time where we'll be allowing the participants, other than the presenters, to talk is going to be in that Q&A section. So if you want to verbally ask a question, that would be at the end of the program. Regarding audio control, we have placed it as muted on entry in order not to disturb the presenters. Regarding your identity video, it would be really good for everyone if they can see the person and the people who have joined. So if you can keep your video on throughout the duration. Also, we put a little comment there, if possible, if you could click on your participant name, if you could do that now, if possible, and just ensure if your name hasn't already been put in there, please insert your name and hyphen with the city. Again, it just helps us with understanding who we're talking to, and if we need to follow up with you afterwards, it'll be very clear for us. Jazakallah. Actually, I think we have Maulana Hassan Marufi on this, but I will quickly summarize the first segment of this. So the stats you can see on the page, this is specifically around the death stats. It's a high level. There's so many stats that we could have brought up here, but just to bring some perspective, the key one for us in terms of the scope of this call is that we have a record of unfortunately 82 UK Shia community members have passed away with COVID-19. This is based on the stats we received from the centers that are open for Imamiyyah from the Shia community, and that's essentially one out of every 10,000 of us within the UK. And you can see the stats there comparing with the global stats. It was a lot faster earlier on. You can see the curve on the below graph. There was a steeper amount of deaths in the earlier months. So the data that we have is really from the end of March onwards. But approximately 82 people have been counted to have died within our community. I'm going to pass on to Maulana Hassan Marufi for the next slide, and to pay a tribute to those who have passed away.
मोमिन के ऊपर हक होता है, और जो मोमिनीन इस दुनिया से गुजर जाते हैं उनका भी हमारे ऊपर हक होता है। यकीनन हालात तो ऐसे हैं कि हम उनके जनाज़ों में शरीक नहीं हो सके, लेकिन बहरहाल ये हक तो बहरहाल हमारे ऊपर रह जाता है कि हम उन्हें दुआए खैर से याद रखें। बहुत सारे मोमिनीन इस बीमारी की वजह से दुनिया से गुजर गए हैं। तकरीबन जैसा कि ब्रदर अजीज ने बताया कि 80 के करीब مومنین یہاں اس دنیا سے اس بیماری کی وجہ سے گزر گئے ہیں۔ میں ایک بات کہنا چاہوں گا کہ الحمدللہ ہم جہاں رہ رہے ہیں، باوجود کہ بے انتہا خوف تھا، بے انتہا وحشت تھی، بے انتہا لوگ ڈرے ہوئے تھے کہ جو بھی اس کووڈ میں اس دنیا سے گزر جائے گا، نہ اس کو کفن دیا جا سکے گا، نہ اس کو غسل دیا جا سکے گا، اور اس کو بس نہیں دفن کرنا ہوگا، پتہ نہیں نماز پڑھنے کے لیے بھی ہوگا نہیں۔ ابتدائی طور پر اس طرح کے خوف تھے، لیکن الحمدللہ یہاں یہ نوبت نہیں آنے پائی، اور آج تک جہاں تک مجھے اطلاع ہے، ایک بھی جنازہ بغیر غسل و کفن کے دفن نہیں ہوا ہے، بغیر جنازے کے نماز جنازے کے دفن نہیں ہوا ہے۔ میں یقینی طور پر جانتا ہوں کہ دنیا میں خصوصاً ہندوستان میں کئی ایسے جنازے کہ جن کو نہ غسل دیا گیا، نہ کفن دیا گیا، نہ نماز جنازہ ہوئی، اور یوں ہی دفن کر دیا گیا۔ بلکہ بعض، یہ مومنین کا تذکرہ بتا رہا ہوں، بعض مسلمانوں کے سلسلے میں ایسا بھی وہاں ہوا کہ اصلاً قبرستان میں جگہ نہیں دی، یعنی جیسے کہ محسوس کریں کہ جیسے کہ اس کو قبر میں بھی اپنا جا کے مرض پھیل، اتنی وحشت ہو چکی ہے، اس وحشت کی بنیاد پر قبرستان میں بھی ان کو جگہ نہیں دی جا رہی ہے۔ لیکن کم از کم مومنین میں ایسا ہوا ہے کہ 2 یا 3 جن کے بارے میں مجھے یقیناً معلوم ہے، انہیں یوں ہی دفن کر دیا گیا، کہ الحمدللہ یہاں ایسا نہیں ہوا۔ میں بہرحال سبھی مومنین جتنے یہاں شریک ہیں ان سے تقاضا کروں گا کہ یہ مومنین مومنات جو کہ اس بیماری کی وجہ سے، اس بلا کی وجہ سے دنیا سے چلے گئے ہیں، ایک مرتبہ ہم انہیں سورہ فاتحہ سے یاد کر لیں۔ بسم اللہ الرحمن الرحیم، الحمدللہ رب العالمین، الرحمن الرحیم، مالک یوم الدین، ایاک نعبد و ایاک نستعین، اہدنا الصراط المستقیم، صراط الذین انعمت علیہم غیر المغضوب علیہم ولا الضالین۔ بسم اللہ الرحمن الرحیم، قل هو اللہ احد اللہ الصمد لم یلد ولم یولد ولم یکن له کفوا احد۔ بسم اللہ الرحمن الرحیم، قل هو اللہ احد اللہ الصمد لم یلد ولم یولد ولم یکن له کفوا احد۔ بسم اللہ الرحمن الرحیم، قل هو اللہ احد اللہ الصمد لم یلد ولم یولد ولم یکن له کفوا احد۔ اللهم صل على محمد وآل محمد، اللهم تقبل هذا والصواب هذه الآيات إلى أرواح المؤمنين، سلام حیت الہی آمین۔ اور اسی کے ساتھ ساتھ بہرحال ایک اہم جز اس کا یہ بھی ہے کہ یہ بیماری، پہلی بیماری میں جو لوگ اس دنیا سے چلے گئے وہ بہرحال مستحق دعا ہیں، لیکن کچھ لوگ ایسے بھی ہیں جو بیماروں کی خدمت کرنے کی وجہ سے اس دنیا سے چلے گئے، ڈاکٹر، نرسیں، وہ مومنین مومنات میں تھیں ہمارے، ان میں سے بھی ایسے لوگ گئے ہیں، یقیناً وہ بہت زیادہ حقدار ہیں، انہیں یاد رکھا جائے اور ان کے لیے دعا کی جائے، اور خصوصی طور پر وہ بھی افراد جو آج خدمت گزار ہیں۔ میں اس بات کی تائید کے لیے میں چاہوں گا تھوڑی دیر کے لیے کہ کہنا چاہوں، میں یوں ہی مطالعہ کر رہا تھا، کچھ اشعار سامنے آ گئے، حالانکہ میں اشعار میں پڑھتا نہیں ہوں، لیکن اس موقع سے متعلق ہے تو بات کو کہنے کے لیے صرف اتنا کہنا چاہوں گا کہ کسی شاعر نے بڑی اچھی بات کہی ہے کہ تھی کسی دور علیلوں کی عیادت واجب، لیکن اب قربت بیمار سے ڈر لگتا ہے، لیکن اب قربت بیمار سے ڈر لگتا ہے، جن کی آمد کو سمجھتے تھے خدا کی رحمت، ایسے مہمانوں کے آثار سے ڈر لگتا ہے، جو گلے مل میری جان کا دشمن ٹھہرے، اب ہر ایک یار وفادار سے ڈر لگتا ہے، اور ایک نادیدہ سی ہستی نے جھجھوڑا ایسے، خلق کو گنبد و مینار سے ڈر لگتا ہے، بن کے ماجوج نمودار ہوا چاروں اور، اس کی یاجوج سی رفتار سے ڈر لگتا ہے، اور عین ممکن ہے یہاں سب ہوں کرونا آلود، شہر کے کوچہ و بازار سے ڈر لگتا ہے، اب تو اپنوں سے بھی ملنا نہیں ڈر سے خالی، یوں نہیں کہ فقط اغیار سے ڈر لگتا ہے۔ یہ سچائی اور یہ حقیقت ہے۔ ایسی صورت میں سوچیں کہ جہاں ہر طرف ڈر کا ماحول ہو، اس میں اگر کچھ ایسے افراد ہوں جو اسی ڈر کے ماحول میں دوسروں کی خدمت کر رہے ہوں، وہ یقیناً ہمارے شکریہ کے مستحق ہوتے ہیں، ہم ان کا شکر گزار ہوں، چاہے وہ کسی مذہب و مسلک سے تعلق رکھتے ہوں، وہ ہمیں ان کا شکریہ ادا کرنا چاہیے کہ اتنے خوف کے ماحول میں وہ اپنے کو पेश करते हैं, खिदमत कर रहे होते हैं यकीन हमारे शुक्र के। और हमारा मजहब कहता है मन लम यशकुरिल मखलूक लम यशकुरिल खालिक, जो एक मखलूक का शुक्रगुजार ना हो सकेगा वह हकीकी मानों में खालिक का भी शुक्रगुजार नहीं हो सकता। या दूसरी रिवायत है कि मन लम यशकुरिन्नास लम यशकुरिल्लाह, जो अपने जैसे लोगों का शुक्रगुजार ना होगा वो यकीन अल्लाह का भी शुक्रगुजार नहीं हो सकता है। हम बे इंतहा शुक्रगुजार उनके जो कि इस माहौल में बीमारों की खिदमत कर रहे हैं, और जो लोग इस दुनिया से चले गए हैं पूरी दुनिया में उनके आक़िबत के लिए, अच्छी आक़िबत के लिए दुआ करें। परवरदिगार उनकी कब्रों को मुनव्वर फरमाए और जो है उनके छोटे बड़े गुनाहों को माफ़ फरमा दे। जो लोग रह गए हैं उनको सब्र जमील इनायत फरमाए इंशाअल्लाह। व आखिर दावाना अल्हम्दुलिल्लाहि रब्बिल आलमीन।
Thank you for the tribute. We will now hand over to Sister Deba Nakwi.
Assalamu alaikum. So coronavirus obviously has brought a lot of pain and suffering to people, but it's also changed the shape of the world for the better in some cases. One of the greatest effects of coronavirus is that it has digitalized the world in almost every sector, including religion and the way we worship. Almost every centre or scholar has conducted an online majlis or lecture, including those who previously had no online presence. And as a result, they are reaching the masses and more people are being educated. Online madrasas have reached people that have never even attended a madrasa in person. Global issues have been discussed, from health to racism. But one thing that coronavirus has done is exposed the ills in our society and made many of us change our ways. We've seen mosques, centres, organisations and individuals reach out to the vulnerable in society, the elderly, the disabled, single parents, or anyone struggling in these times. Food and care packages have been delivered, help has been offered, mutual aid groups have been formed up and down the country. You know, we should have been doing this a long time ago, as so many people in society have been struggling. But it literally took a pandemic for us to start caring and looking out for others. But alhamdulillah that we have at least started caring. Yes, it may have taken a pandemic, but it doesn't matter, because we need to maintain this momentum once our lives return to normal. And even if you weren't one of those who helped, you can start now. Another benefit of this lockdown is that we finally have more time to spend with Allah and connect with Him. We have the time to pray. If only we had more time. So Allah has given us more time. We have the perfect opportunity to get closer to Him. We also have the time to spend with our families, which is also important in Islam. And people are actually appreciating their families more, especially the ones that we can't see. And in fact, we're appreciating everything a lot more. People have started to appreciate the value of just stepping outside of your house. And some people are starting to realize how many things that they previously valued aren't really that important. Like the competition of the best holiday snaps on the gram have reduced, or posting your restaurant meals every day has mostly stopped. You know, it's probably partly due to coronavirus and partly due to the Black Lives Matter movement, but regardless, people are finally starting to question status quo, because again, people finally have time to question. And we need to take advantage of this and maintain it when things go back to normal. The ills of society should no longer stay, whether that's racism, capitalism, or anything else. But another important change is that coronavirus has also made religion accessible to people who didn't have access to centres, such as those who don't live near a centre, but also disabled people. Our centres don't often cater for disabled people, and they often aren't even wheelchair accessible. So many disabled people can't even get through the door of our centres. But coronavirus has allowed disabled people to access virtual doors. And it's a huge step that we must follow in the post-COVID-19 world. Because if many of you look towards yourselves, how you have missed your centre. Now imagine how much so many disabled people miss their centres that they can't even enter. So once we get back into our centres, as a way of thanking Allah for making our centres available to us again, we must make it accessible to everyone. And finally, I wanted to end by saying that the centers that are based around one culture or one community, whether Pakistani, Khoja, Iraqi, or whatever, in this lockdown, they have managed to cross cultures and welcome people online from all over the globe. Although some centers previously used to live stream or upload Majlis, it was on a much smaller scale. But due to coronavirus, we've essentially all become global Husseiniyyahs, which we were supposed to be at the start. But when we go back to our centers, when the physical doors are opened, we need to make sure we continue this global village that is not restricted to one culture, one country, or one race, but one that is united under the banner of Islam. Global Husseiniyyahs that the Ahlul Bayt would be proud of. Jazakallah.
Jazakallah.
Thank
you. Thank you. Just very eloquently put and raised some great points there. Okay, what we'll do now, before we move on to the next segment, is we'll do a poll. Can I ask Brother Shabi if you can use poll 2, if you could launch the Corona Impact poll for the participants, please. If it's working.
Yeah, it started, Brother Amir.
Okay, so hopefully the participants can see the poll. Can we run that for 30 seconds and then share the results on the screen, please? If anyone's having trouble with seeing that, please put a chat message so we can try and fix it. Okay, Brother Shabi, could you share the results?
Yeah, we've shared the results already.
Okay. I'm not seeing that on my screen, unfortunately. So if you could read out the results.
Yeah, so the first questions were, do you have anyone in your family, relatives, or close friend who has died from COVID-19? And 21% said yes, whereas 79% said no. And the next question was, has anyone died from COVID-19 in the Shia community in your town or city? The answer, the people who didn't answer was 49, said none was 49%. 1 is 16%, 2 is 5%, 3 plus is 30%. And the last question was, have you or local Islamic center set up support for members or wider community who are self-isolating at home or at high risk? So the answer yes was 56%, no was 26%, and don't know was 19%.
So
hopefully everyone should be seeing these results on the screen.
That's great. Okay. We're going to do a couple more of them as we go on. Just sharing the screen again. Right. Okay. So moving on to the next agenda item, which Sister Theo Bukhari Nakwi had ended off on, so it will flow nicely. Online religious services. Can I ask Brother Misam Raza to do the slides regarding the online madrasa classes that MUS had initiated.
Thank you, Brother Amir. Bismillahir Rahmanir Rahim. Assalamu alaikum, everyone. Online services or classes is one of the services MUS offered during last 3-4 months. As the pandemic started, so we took several initiatives to work with the community. basically the centers closed, as everyone knows. The lockdown stopped our madrasas, our centers. So there was a big gap. Children were stopped going to madrasa, where they were going on weekly basis or regular basis. So the first initiative MUS took was to provide a guideline for madrasa teachers, administration, and parents, and recommended to arrange online sessions or classes wherever they could. Then it was followed by a workshop for teachers, madrasa admins, where there was a tutorial about how to manage online classes, what should be the rules, what should be the privacy policy. And following the workshop, many centers, they alhamdulillah started their online classes as well. But there were many centers who were reluctant, are not able to start online classes or other programs for several reasons. So this was discussed, and we came up with the idea to start central classes for MUS syllabus books. And in parallel, we also started classes for Quran teaching, both for children and adults. So in March, there were 439 registrations for Quran classes. And then we started registration for madrasa syllabus books. And alhamdulillah, as you can see, 1,435 people registered. And the actual number was actually more, because some families, they had more than one kid who registered and they were attending the classes. These classes were started in April. We came up with the class schedule. We aim to finish these in 3 months, and that is going to end in the first week of July. Then we started some more Quran classes in April and May, mainly during the month of Shaban and Ramazan. In parallel, there were weekly, not every week, but on some weeks, MUS started Nicob Citation, and respected Ulama from various places. They joined and prayed together for the community. So the next slide you're seeing is, Brother Amir, can I request that if I can get the control of the slides?
Yeah, okay, 1 minute.
Okay, I'll share it on my PC if you don't mind.
Yeah, go ahead.
Thank you. Right, so I'll quickly move on, considering the time I have. So we also launched daily transmissions during the month of Ramazan, about 2 hours daily transmission. And this is a chart showing how many classes we started for teachers. As you can see, there was 1 class every day. On some days, there were more than 1 classes. And a number of teachers, trained, qualified teachers, experienced in madrasa teaching, together with our respected Maulanas, Maulana Sayyid Zafar Abbas, Maulana Imran, Maulana Sayyid Muhammad Rizvi, Brother Imran Qasim, and sisters and brothers, they came up, they volunteered, and we started offering these classes on daily basis, basically 1 subject per day. And along with these, we were running Quran classes. There were 7 different groups, which were designed based on the age and the gender, and there were a number of volunteers who came up and supported in this cause as well. So the registration process was quite simple. We got the online registration, the classes began, people started attending, and we came up with further online tools which helped to give homework to the students and provide feedback. These classes are being recorded and shared on YouTube, so that anyone who misses the classes or in future, if they want to benefit, they can benefit from it. And in parallel, we had teachers workshops, regular meetings, feedback to improve our service. This is MUS channel where you can go and have a look and see how these classes are being delivered. If you want to benefit from these, please do go to youtube.com/Majlis Ulama Shia, subscribe so that you get regular updates. Just to give you a flavor in 10 seconds. So this is one of the class where sister is teaching book 2, and as you can see, we are making full use of the technology, presentations, activities, online polls, question and answers, interactive sessions to keep children involved. And alhamdulillah, we have really good feedback from parents. So this is a feedback chart from parents, and as you can see, majority, almost everyone, were happy and content that the contents were appropriate for the age. They were happy with the teachers' skills to teach online. Classes were being started online, and MUS should continue these classes even after the initial period of 3 months. And these are some comments from parents. We got a lot of suggestions, improvements. We did improve, but overall the comments were quite encouraging. And our teachers, our team, it was a collective team effort, admin, and a number of teachers. They really performed very well. And these are the comments, some of the comments I copied from the feedback from parents. And as you can see, these lessons are really being appreciated. So based on our experience and the input from parents, from the community, we do have plan to plan more online classes and other programs. So these classes which are going on will complete the course before 5th of July, and then there will be online exam. And in parallel, we are going to start Quran Qiraat classes for madrasa teachers. Inshallah, Maulana Imran will give some more details on it in a minute. And after our online exam, we have a plan to continue these classes based on age. We plan to give different activities-based sessions or topics during the month of July and August, including Muharram. And after 10th of Muharram, from beginning of September, there's a plan to start new classes for MUS syllabus books. And we do have a plan for teachers training. The workshops usually we had face-to-face in centers, but now we will inshallah arrange online, and the focus would be to help teachers how to arrange online classes, because we don't know when we are going back to madrasas in our centers. So that was all from me. Maulana Imran Hussain will shed more light. He has been continuously involved in all these activities. So over to you, Maulana Sahab.
Thank you, Mr. If you can stop sharing, I'll go back to the main deck. Thank you.
Thank you, brother.
أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم الحمد لله رب العالمين والصلاة والسلام على أشرف الأنبياء المرسلين محمد وأهل بيت الطيبين الطاهرين المعصومين أما بعد فقد قال الله سبحانه وتعالى بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم والعصر إن الإنسان لفي خسر إلا الذين آمنوا وعملوا الصالحات وتواصوا بالحق وتواصوا بالصبر. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Respected ulama, respected mu'mineen and sisters from our communities. During the pandemic, many of us have lost our loved ones, and many of us have been affected in different ways, financially, spiritually, and morally. Even though these things have happened, that we have lost loved ones, but we also, during this period of time, we have initiated new methods, new initiatives in supporting and helping our community. One of the things which we work together with Majlis Ulama collectively, and as Brother Misam has mentioned, the madrasa classes. This is the result of COVID-19. If we did not have COVID-19, we would have not launched madrasa classes. This all started off from Arabic language classes. I saw that the teachers in school, they have started PE classes online and they've been successful. And I said, they're doing physical exercise. We as Shias, we are the followers of the Ahlul Bayt alayhimus salam. Why don't we offer our knowledge which we have to our community? And that gave me an initiative, and I was teaching Arabic language in our local mosque. And I said, let me start at a local level, regional level, and see what the response is. Alhamdulillah, within a week, the response was very positive. I had about 100 students to study with me Arabic language. And the methodology which I was using, it was Western methodology, which is used in universities, along with a mixture of Hawzawi method as well, to amalgamate them together. Alhamdulillah, that went very well. And then Alhamdulillah, due to that, we launched the Hawza the madrasa for our students. As we know, we have 1,400 students. Now, the main thing is that this opportunity of COVID-19, we may not see again. And we need to maximize our benefit during this period of COVID-19. As we're still in the period of lockdown, we need to reach out and think of new methodologies of reaching out for tabligh. We came in the 30s or the early 70s or the early 60s, and we made mosques in UK, Imam Bargas, Hussainiyas. But now this is a new phase of the evolving our centers to a electronic social media platform. As Sister Taiba was mentioned, many of our ulama were not used to doing lectures online, and it was difficult and challenging, but alhamdulillah, we have been successful. Now what we need to do as a community together to work collectively and try to bring all our resources to one platform and try to maximize our presence on the social media and especially YouTube. When we launched the madrasa, we realized that we as a Shia community at large, at the international level, we don't have content for our children. And alhamdulillah, it's been a great success. People in Dubai, people in America, people in Canada, people in Africa, people in France, Germany, people around the globe are benefiting from the services which we're offering so far. And there is great potential even further to develop this further. And this only can happen now is with the support of our local centers, that they come on board together with us and we will support them and build an infrastructure of a second phase of our presence in UK and at an international level. Now, there's two things. Why did I launch the Arabic language class? The reason why is that our Sunni brothers, they're quite successful when it comes to Arabic language. Their children are able to speak some Arabic, whereas us as a community, as a Shia community, we are quite laid back. We don't concentrate on the Arabic language as much as the other communities do. And I wanted to bring a new initiative on MUS that we teach Arabic language part of our weekend classes or during the weekdays. And I am offering this to all our teachers across the country, that I am willing to teach everyone Arabic language, and we can bring this as part of our annual syllabus, which is taught at our local centers, so that we can then, from the Arabic language classes, what is the aim? Aim is that we can go towards understanding the Quran. There's already a syllabus ready, which is called Mafahimul Quran in English, so that at least our children, once in their lifetime, at least they can understand the Quran at its meaning, and also work towards the ultimate aim to understand the knowledge of the Quran. So inshallah, I have only 1 minute. I will complete within 1 minute. Now, these Arabic classes, they are global. And if anyone would like to join, Majlis Ulama is planning to start registration again for our adults and also for our children. In some communities, in some families, the mother, the daughter-in-law, the son, the young daughter, the father, the whole family is studying Arabic language as a collective learning session. And they're putting on YouTube and they're having a YouTube channel and they're watching. So alhamdulillah, COVID-19 has brought about this change of we need to learn. As the hadith of the Imam alayhi salam says, Al-ilmu faridatu ala kulli muslim wa muslimatin. So inshallah, this is my message, and inshallah you can contact our respected brothers from the research team and they will help yourself in registering. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
Wa alaikum assalam wa rahmatullah. Thank you, Imran, for saying. And also, just before we end that segment, there was also a very great effort by the MUS team, especially the Ulama, where they launched Majlis TV on YouTube, which is a daily 2 to 3 hour streaming during the month of Ramadan. And that's also on YouTube as content for you to utilize, inshallah. Can I ask Brother Shabi, could you quickly bring up the poll number 3 called online services?
Okay, I'm just about to launch it, brother. Okay, it started now.
Okay, if we run that for 30 seconds and just share the output, please.
Okay, should I end it now?
Yeah, if we can end now and share the result, if it hasn't been.
Okay, the results are on the screen now. Cool. So the first question was, since the lockdown, has your local center arranged an online weekly program? So 64% said yes, and 36% said no. And the second question was, since lockdown, has your local center arranged your own online madrasa service? And 51% said yes, 35% said no, 14% said utilized MUS madrasa online.
Thank you. Hopefully that's interesting insight for everyone. We will be collating and sending out a report at the end of this as well, because we believe that that's quite interesting information and will help you with strategizing going forward. We're moving on to the next section. 1 minute. This is probably one which everyone was waiting for, regarding preparing to reopen our centers, and this will be led by Dr. Abbas Naqvi. Assalamu alaikum.
Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. Alhamdulillah Rabbil Alameen. Salatu wassalamu ala ashrafil anbiya wal mursaleen abil qasim Muhammad wa ala alihi at-tayyibin at-tahirin al-ma'sumin. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. First of all, I pray for your health, for your long life and safety. And I'm thankful and obliged to all of you who are attending this meeting. So inshallah, in future, we will carry on our collective efforts for our coming generation, for our kids, for our centers, and inshallah, we will prepare ourselves for the Imam of our time, Imam Mahdi alayhi salam. As you know, last 3 months we were in lockdown, and now slowly, our government is going towards the ease down of that lockdown. We need to prepare ourselves, and for that preparation, we need assessment of our centers, our community. We need to make decisions, and then we have to implement our decisions. For assessment, what we need, that is a legal thing as well. Appointment is safeguard officer. So someone, inshallah, we'll talk later, So what kind of quality this safeguard officer should have, but that is important appointment of that officer. Number two, that is commencing risk assessment. What kind of risk, if we are going to open our center as a whole, our community or the local community as well, wider community, so what kind of risk they could face by opening of our center. Number three is a study guidance and the consult with experts. So we need to launch some kind of study about our community, local community, as well as about our centers. And we have to concern with the experts like medical doctors, like police, like local government. So then collaboration with our own community as well as the local external stakeholders. So local external stakeholders is local council, is police, it could be the medical authorities, but collaboration with our own community, that is important. We need to call some kind of meeting, discussion, consultation, maybe through Zoom, online, on conference calls. We need to get their say, their suggestions. We should keep them on board. And then after this assessment, we need to make decisions, prepare a written plan to reopen. Usually, we talk a lot and we discuss many things, but we don't have the habit to make notes or to have written plan. So written plan is good for today. If after 6 months, 1 year, if we need what kind of plan we had already, so that will be quite useful for us as well as the coming generation. And then clearly communication, our approach to our community members and the external stakeholders. So especially the management, the trustees, the management, maybe the imam. So they are important people to do the assessment, to make the decisions. And then next point is, if you have good plan and good decisions, but if you are not transferring to the community, not communicating with the community as well as the stakeholders, so that is useless. So here the hub is the management, the trustees. So they are important to play a positive role and best role with community as well as the external stakeholders. The implementation, that is whatever the plans we have, so we must implement and to remove the liability from your organization to save your congregation. So if we will not have risk assessment, if we will not have safeguarding officer, if we are not communicating properly with our community as well as the external stakeholders, so we could face some kind of consequences, maybe due to some reason or some mishap. Council or the police or the government, they will come and close our centers, or they will stop congregation in our mosque. So for us, it is good. We have to work properly, and so that we should be able to keep open our centers, as well as we should be able to protect our community and their lives. So this slide is telling you about the appointment of safeguarding officer. So why? Because without any organization and planning, we can't move forward. We need a person, allocated person, and that person must be announced and should be told to the community who is that person. So community could communicate with that person, management could communicate with that person, and the external stakeholder, they could communicate, and they will lead the community, especially related with the COVID-19. And so committee or community are wider stakeholders, so they will be in contact with that person. So this person will prepare and manage the risk assessment, engage with the local center management, with the local council and the other faith leaders, and keeping in touch with the local community. So there are 8 key measures to implement. Number one, when we are going to reopen our centers, the first and most important precaution, that is keeping the social distance. So according to the Islamic teachings as well as our cultural practices, so we were used to, we hug each other, we shake hand with each other. So in some culture, people, when they see each other, so they kiss each other. So now we have to avoid no hugging, no kissing, no handshaking. And then we have to calculate the capacity because the new law that is coming, so we have to keep the social distance, that is 2 meters from each other, so from every side. So for this, we need to calculate. If already our center could accommodate 100 people, so then, so now it's the 10%, only 10 persons can come and attend the congregation. Then who will be those 10%? So here is the safeguarding officer as well as the management. They have to make some system. So everyone who would like to come into the center, so they should get their turn. It should not, the friendship or the family or these things. So everyone who would like to come and attend the congregation, so should have the equal right. So we need to develop some kind of system. So for that, we can have online event pre-registration. So Facebook we can use, even Bright we can use, maybe most of the center, they have their own websites, so they can have this kind of registration system, so that they should know before time who are coming. Or if the capacity is only, they can accommodate 100%. So when those 100%, 100 people, they have registered, so registration should be blocked. So we need to develop some online system. Then is the deep cleaning before and after each congregation. Dettol wipe, all, we need to wipe all hard surfaces like tables, chairs, and the deep clean, especially the wudu area and the toilets. So what we could suggest right now, people, they should do wudu at home. They should bring their own mats, their own sajdaga and tasbih, and they should avoid doing wudu at mosque, at center. We need to have hand sanitizers, so ample supply and well-located dispensers are important to reopen our mosque. Face covering, that is also important. All attendees and management must wear face covering, like mask, and it could be homemade or it could be disposable, reducing risk of spreading by using face mask. So that is almost 90%. So this is one of the important things. There is a social distance. Number 2, using face mask. One-way system of entry and exit. So that is also important. We need to implement, if possible. Sometime there is only one door to go in and to come out. So then the crossing, and especially face will be next to each other. People will be breathing or they will be coughing. So there is maximum threat for their health to gain this virus. So if we split the entry and the exit, so that will be good to protect the health and lives of our people. The split events into smaller gatherings. So if we are not having capacity and people, they are willing to attend, so then maybe the same event we can have in 2 or 3 sessions, or maybe we can have on the different times or different days. We need to have some kind of help desk outside the center. So some youth, some people, they should be over there and ensure only COVID-19 compliant members could enter into the mosque or into the centers, and especially those who are 50 plus and they are at high risk. They should stay at home, and the management, the COVID officer, they need to arrange online teaching or online entertainment or different programs. So when they are unable to come and attend, so at least they should be able to attend at home online. So I hope these are some important points which will be helpful for all of us and we will collectively try to save the lives of our people. In Pakistan, you can observe, so during Muharram, during Ramadan, there was Easter, a lot of shopping and Jalus and Taraweeh. So now a lot of people are going to die. As in UK, the rate of COVID death was disproportionate as compared to our population in this country. So already we lost a lot of people. We are at high risk, and especially we Shia, we are a minority in minority. So our lives are very important. So to protect our lives, our elder and our community, we need to be very, very careful how we can open our centers and how we can carry on our Majlis, especially Muharram is coming. So I hope these will be good points to help all of us. And inshallah, your suggestions are always welcome. And collectively, inshallah, we will make a better decision for our future and for our mosque and centers. Thank you very much.
Jazakallah Mawlana Sahab. That was beneficial. There's some questions that came up in the chat regarding can we have these slides. Just to confirm, probably on the next day, so on Monday, we will send through a complete pack of information, including the information contained in the slides and other relevant links. We have taken a lot of this content from other organizations we've been collaborating with, like MINAB and MCB, BIMA, and obviously Public Health England. So we will send through the information afterwards to your registering emails. There is a poll, and if I can ask Brother Shabi, if you can run the poll for the reopening. And in the meantime, can I also ask Brother Waqar Haider is now with us, if he could get ready to recite a mankabat shortly after the poll.
Okay, the poll has started now.
Again, let's give 30 seconds, so that's okay with everyone. Yeah, we can stop that. And
Just sharing the results now. So the first question was, have you conducted a risk assessment for local reopening planning yet? And 12% said yes, majority 88% said not yet. And the next one is, do you have a designated COVID-19 safety officer in our center? And 14% have said yes, 86% have said no. And the last question, how confident are you going back to the center after easing of the rules? So we had a mixed reaction. 9% said 10, which is very confident. 4% said 9, 6% 8. The highest is 22% at 5.
At 5, okay.
Yeah. Okay, I'm going to stop the results now.
Thank you, brother. Can we see if Brother Waqar Haider is on the line? I can't see him on the participation list. And if he is not there, Brother Imamiyyah from Slough.
Assalamu alaikum to everyone.
Wa alaikum assalam. Bismillah. Can we request you to recite for 3 to 4 minutes maximum, inshallah?
Inshallah. سب حضرات سے درخواست ہے کہ صلوات کا سہارا دیجیے گا. اللہم صلی علی محمد و علی محمد. وقت اتنا نہیں ہے تو میں سب سے پہلے شکریہ ادا کرنا چاہوں گا مجلس علماء شیعہ کا کہ جنہوں نے آج مدحت محمد اور محمد کے لیے اس خاکسار کو مدعو کیا. تو امام علی رضا علیہ السلام کی ولادت ان قریب ہے، تو اسی حوالے سے 2 یا 3 اشعار میں پیش کرنا چاہوں گا. میرے لب پہ مدح امام رضا ہے، 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 کہ جبریل فکر آج صدرا گیا ہے. میرے لب پہ مدح امام رضا ہے، اور میں تیری امان میں ہوا ہوں کی طرح، میں تیری امان میں ہوا ہوں کی طرح، تیرا سکہ بازو پہ میرے بندھا ہے. میرے لب پہ مدح امام رضا ہے. اور یقیناً آپ سب بھی جانتے ہیں کہ مولا حسن علیہ السلام کا دسترخوان تاریخ میں مشہور ہے. تو آئیے اسی حوالے سے میں شعر پیش کروں. امام علی رضا سے رب دینے کی کوشش کی ہے کہ سلیقہ ہے جو میزبانی کا تیرا، سلیقہ ہے جو میزبانی کا تیرا، حسن سے یہ ورثے میں تجھ کو ملا ہے. میرے لب پہ مدح امام رضا ہے. اور یہ آخری 2 شعر میں پیش کر رہا ہوں کہ زمین پر ہی معراج میں کر رہا ہوں، زمین پر ہی معراج میں کر رہا ہوں، تیرے در پہ سر جو یہ میرا جھکا ہے. میرے لب پہ مدح امام رضا ہے، اور بتاتا ہے قالین کا شعر ہم کو، بتاتا ہے قالین کا شعر ہم کو، رضا کی رضا میں خدا کی رضا ہے. میرے لب پہ مدح امام رضا ہے. اور مقطع پیش خدمت ہے، کاش یہ ارمان ایک دن پورا ہو جائے. زباں کٹ بھی جائے نہ چھوڑوں گا مدحت، زباں کٹ بھی جائے نہ چھوڑوں گا مدحت، کہ میسم کو میسم کا لہجہ ملا ہے. میرے لب پہ مدح امام رضا ہے. اللہم صلی علی محمد و علی محمد. جزاک اللہ.
Beautifully cited. Father, may Allah give you the most beautiful of successes in this dunya and in akhirah. We'll move on now to the next segment, which is organ donation. Inshallah, Maulana Sayyid Zafar Abbas will be presenting this. Assalamu alaikum. Maulana Sayyid Zafar Abbas. Check.
بسم اللہ الرحمن الرحیم. السلام علیکم. as you can see on the screen, we there's been a little or major change in the law regarding organ donation. That is that before, as you can see on the left of screen, there was the opt-in model where unless you had registered to be an organ donor in your lifetime, NHS would not extract your organs, and it would only be if a child permitted it for their parent, or parent permitted it for the child. Now, however, since 20th of May of this year, if you do not explicitly opt out on the NHS website, which is www.nhs.uk, and you are over the age of 18, then your organs can be taken out. It will be assumed that you have given permission to, at the time of your death, for organs to be extracted. So obviously it's very important to go onto you can see the website there, to go onto the organ donation website and to opt out from the organs being donated. So just gonna quickly, obviously I have a few minutes, and we're always pressed for time, so I'm just gonna quickly mention regarding organ donation. Obviously, some general ahkam and general rulings regarding life, saving somebody's life, and regarding harm and self-harm. So obviously these are the rules that most of you are all familiar with, aware of. The Holy Quran says, you know, if somebody saves one person's life, is that is as if that person saved everybody's life. But at the same time, it also says that a person cannot put their own selves into destruction, into halakat, into harm. So there's obviously various interpretations based on both of these verses of the Holy Quran from our fuqaha, from our mujtahideen, and how do you balance the idea of saving a person's life with how you save a person from self-harm and so on and so forth. So I'm just going to quickly just mention the rulings. So from the major Maraja Azam, including Ayatollah Sistani and Ayatollah Khamenei, they all agree on the fact that during one's lifetime, it is permissible for a person to donate their organs. So for example, if a person wants to donate their kidney or some other kind of organ which will help another person's life, so long as a person is alive, they can donate that organ as long as it doesn't threaten their own life, as long as it doesn't risk their own life. So like a kidney donation, for example, is a very common one that people do, and that's permissible according to the vast majority of our fuqaha. The issue, of course, in this law that's come in, which is regarding after a person's passed away, after their death. And in this regard, there are obviously different viewpoints from the fuqaha. So according to Abdullah Sistani, Hafidhullah, it is not permissible at all. So in any case, in any scenario, it's not permissible for a person to, for a person's body after they've passed away, for it to be, for organs to be removed. Abdullah Sistani Hafidhullah considers this to be, a mutilation of the body, which he considers to be haram. Obviously, mutilation of the body is not permissible, it's not allowed. So therefore, he doesn't permit it at all. Ayatollah Khamenei is a little more flexible, and he believes that it is permissible as long as the body is not mutilated in a way that it would not be recognized anymore. So if an operation can be done and an organ can be removed, and then it would maintain the body in the same way, like from the physical perspective. Then, so for example, that kind of organ that's removed, which is an internal organ, for example, would be permissible. But for example, an external organ like a hand or an eye or something like that would not be permissible according to Ayatollah Khamenei. Ayatollah Makarim Shirazi Hafidullah has a even more flexible viewpoint, and he believes that if a dying person puts it in their will that they want their organs to be donated, so they are consenting to it, then in that scenario it is permissible. So obviously in this regard you would need to refer to your own Marajozam and their viewpoint, but we would suggest and recommend that you definitely sign up, go to the website and make sure that you have opted out from this donation, because then you will obviously regain the control back. Otherwise you would have no control over your body and your organs, should it be necessary or should it be required. I'm just going to end, I do have a minute or so. I'm just going to end with thanking research development team of MUS who worked really hard behind the scenes in preparing and doing all of this, including the meeting, including the classes that have been running, and a lot of other stuff, including searching for the building for the MUS office, so on and so forth. So a lot of hard work has gone on in the background that maybe a lot of people are not aware of. So I'd like to express gratitude to their hard work. In addition to obviously being pandemic, taking care of family, work, and so on and so forth, still being involved in this. So that, and also I would also like to thank particularly the teachers who have volunteered their time in running their classes during this pandemic, which have been really, really successful and really well received. As Maulana Imran was saying, we've had interest from all over the world, and mashallah, they've been a real huge success, probably more successful than we had even imagined. And maybe if the support from parents and from the community is there, we can continue running them even after we go back to some kind of normality, because they've been so successful, especially for places where there's been no madrasa, there's no community, there's no resident alim, so on and so forth. So mashallah, that has been a really big success, and perhaps, as Maulana Imran said, if you like, a positive in these dark significant times. I'll just again take this, I'm going to end, just take the liberty to ask you all to recite a Fatiha for a famous Khatib Ahl Bayt, Maulana Muntazir Abbas Taqi of Islamabad, who passed away earlier today due to COVID-19, and say a Fatiha for him and for all those who passed away due to this current pandemic, and all your marhumin, rahimallahu yaqra'ul Fatiha. Bismillah. 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 Bismillah.
Jazakallah, Maulana Sayyid Abbas. Okay, so we're moving on to the funeral services under COVID-19 section. Approximately it's going to be 12 minutes of time. It will be started off by Maulana Jafar Najam, who will hand over to Brother Sajjad Shah of Masjid Ali Luton. So if I can hand over to Maulana Jafar Najam.
ओके आउज़ु बिल्लाहि मिनश शैतानिर रजीम बिस्मिल्लाहिर रहमानिर रहीम। सबसे पहले तो आपका शुक्रिया, पूरी टीम का शुक्रिया, मौलाना रज़ा साहब माशाल्लाह और किबला मौलाना अब्बास लकवी साहब की टीम का बहुत बहुत शुक्रिया, जिन्होंने आज की इस खूबसूरत मीटिंग को बहुत ही अच्छे अंदाज में, और खुसूसन R&D टीम का भी शुक्रिया। जहाँ तक कोविड-19 के हवाले से बात करनी है तो देखिए, उलमा ने और मराज कराम की बात हो रही है। मराज कराम ने कहा था कि अगर आपके लिए गुस्ल मुमकिन नहीं है तो फिर आप तयम्मुम दे सकते हैं, और बहरहाल अगर तयम्मुम मुमकिन ना हो तो आप मय्यत को बगैर तयम्मुम के भी दफना सकते हैं। लेकिन अल्हम्दुलिल्लाह रब्बिल आलमीन परवरदिगार का लाख लाख शुक्र है, जैसा कि गुलाम आरूफी साहब ने भी इब्तिदा में इस बात को मेंशन किया है कि हमारी खुशनसीबी है कि हमारे यहाँ शिया सेंटर में, और सबसे पहले मैं अल्लाह ताला का शुक्र अदा करता हूँ, क्रेडिट जाता है वर्ल्ड फेडरेशन स्टैनमोर जमात को, हुज्जत इमाम बारगाह, उन्होंने बहुत खूबसूरत अंदाज में इसमें लीडिंग रोल अदा किया। उसमें बहुत खूबसूरत अंदाज से उन्होंने माशाल्लाह अच्छे तरीके से पूरे यूके से भी उन्होंने केसेस मुख्तलिफ शहरों से भी लिए हैं और उनका शुक्रिया अदा करते हैं। इसी तरह हमारी मस्जिद इमाम अली की टीम है, उन्होंने बहुत माशाल्लाह ब्रदर सजाद शाह साहब निहायत ही खुश उसलूबी के साथ उन्होंने वॉलंटियर्स की टीम जेंट्स लेडीज दोनों की उन्होंने खूबसूरत अंदाज में बनाई और वो अंजाम दिया उसको। बहरहाल मैं समझता हूँ कि वो जो एक हमारा एक खौफ था वो अल्हम्दुलिल्लाह अब खत्म हो गया है, उस तरह की अब इंशाल्लाह सूरत हाल नहीं है और मुझे यकीन है कि इंशाल्लाह ताला आने वाले दिनों में भी इंशाल्लाह ताला ऐसा कोई मसला नहीं होगा। और खुदा न खासा अगर ऐसा मसला हो भी, बहरहाल नहीं मालूम, कहते हैं सेकंड वेव होगी, थर्ड वेव होगी, गॉड नोस, पता नहीं क्या क्या, अभी तो बहुत सारे मसाले हैं जो भी आएंगे। तो अगर इस तरह की सूरत हाल हो तो हमारे माशाल्लाह इदारा जाफरिया बिल्कुल तैयार है, हमारे मौजूद भी हैं उनके जिम्मेदारान यहाँ पर, और उनसे हमारी बात हुई थी और उन्होंने माशाल्लाह बड़ी खूबसूरती खुश उसलूबी के साथ जो है वो बहुत ही अच्छी एक कैनोपी बनाई है और बहुत ही अच्छा एहतमाम किया है, जहाँ पर कोविड-19 के मरहूमीन को वहाँ पर गुस्ल कफन का एहतमाम किया जा सकता है। इसी तरह ईस्ट लंदन में सकीना ट्रस्ट की इंतजामिया से भी बात हो चुकी है और उन्होंने भी इस बात का जो है वो यकीन दिलाया है कि अगर उनके पास जो है वॉलंटियर्स की टीम भी हो, उनके पास जो है उसको डिसइंफेक्ट करने के तमाम जो है वसाइल भी हों और बाकी कोई इशू नहीं है, वो भी सकीना ट्रस्ट भी इसके लिए बिल्कुल आमादा और तैयार है, ताकि अगर खुदा न खासा कोई ऐसी सूरत हाल पेश आ जाए तो सकीना ट्रस्ट भी जो है इस सिलसिले में जो है तैयार है। बाकी जहाँ तक पीपीई किट्स का ताल्लुक है, मैं खुसूसन मेंशन करना चाहूंगा, इस्लामिक सेंटर में इस वक्त जो है भी अवेलेबल है हमारे पास पीपीई किट्स जो है। अगर किसी सेंटर्स को पीपीई किट्स की जरूरत हो तो हम जो है उनको जो कास्ट ली गई है, चाइना से मंगवाए गए, हमने मंगवाए हैं, तो उसी कास्ट पर उनको हम दे सकते हैं। बहरहाल किसी तकरीबन ऑलमोस्ट 300-400 हैं, कुछ हमारे सेंटर्स ने डिमांड की थी और अल्हम्दुलिल्लाह शेफील्ड सेंटर को जैसे कि प्रोवाइड किए गए हैं और कुछ और सेंटर्स में उनको भी दिए गए हैं। बहरहाल अगर आप लोगों को किसी सेंटर में भी पीपीई किट की जरूरत हो तो आप लोग R&D टीम या मुझसे आप रब्ता कर सकते हैं, इस्लामिक सेंटर से भी आप रब्ता कर सकते हैं, आपको बताया जा सकता है। जहां तक प्रिपरेशन की बात है, मैं समझता हूँ कि अभी सजाद शाह साहब अगर इंशाअल्लाह ताला हमारे साथ मौजूद हैं वो आपको बताएंगे। मैं फिर एक दफा शुक्रिया अदा करता हूँ उन लोगों का जिन्होंने टायरलेसली खुसूसन इस कोविड-19 के दौरान, जहां पर वाकई जिस तरह पाकिस्तान की भी सूरत हाल यही थी, जिस तरह मारूफी साहब ने फरमाया कि इंडिया में बहुत ऐसे लोग थे जिनको गुस्ल कफन तो दूर की बात है, जनाजा भी नहीं हुआ। न्यूयॉर्क में बेआईनी यही हुआ है, बाज़ दीगर ममालिक में भी हुआ है, लेकिन परवरदिगार को शुक्र है कि हमारे नॉलेज के मुताबिक यहाँ पर कोई ऐसा सेंटर यानी कोई ऐसा जनाजा नहीं था कि जिसको गुस्ल या कम से कम तयम्मुम न दिया होगा। माशाल्लाह हैदरी इमाम बारगाह जो है, हैदरी साउथ लंदन में भी रतम में उन लोगों ने भी माशाल्लाह इसी तरीके से चीथम हिल की जो इमाम हुसैन मस्जिद है उनकी इंतजामिया ने भी माशाल्लाह बहुत ही अच्छे अंदाज में इसको अंजाम दिया। और दीगर सेंटर्स हैं, शायद सबके अगर नाम न ले सकूं, तो जिन जिन सेंटर्स ने भी और जिन जिन वॉलंटियर्स ने भी इस सिलसिले में जो है मेहनत की है, जहमत की है और दिन रात अपने जो है सर्फ की है, और खुसूसन ये है कि अपने आप को बहरहाल एक खतरे में डाल के, लेकिन अल्हम्दुलिल्लाह इंशाअल्लाह ताला कोई ऐसा वाक़या पेश नहीं आया और परवरदिगार का शुक्र है सब सेफ हैं और इंशाअल्लाह उम्मीद है कि अल्लाह ताला उनको भी हमेशा सेफ रखे। सजाद शाह साहब अगर तशरीफ फरमा है तो मैं रिक्वेस्ट करूंगा वो भी इस सिलसिले में उन्होंने जो बहुत जहमत की है वो भी बता सकते हैं।
Assalamu alaikum. Can you hear me?
Walaikum. Yes, we can hear you.
أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. نادى علي مزر العجائب تجده أو نولك في النظائب كل هم وغم سينجلي بعظمتك يا الله وبنبوتك يا محمد يا محمد وبولايتك يا علي يا علي يا علي. Respected ulama, elders, brothers and sisters, assalamu alaikum, ya Ali alayhi salam alaikum. I would like to first start off by saying all praise be to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, the Lord of the worlds, the sustainer of life. And I would like to take this opportunity to thank our lead ulama, our respected Maulana Sayyid Ali Raza Rizvi Sahib, in facilitating this meeting, which is an amazing achievement and much improvement to be made as well. And all of the ulama and their respective communities who have reached out to help us as we have collected the respected members of the communities to give them a respectful funeral. Alhamdulillah. I'm just going to go through some of the items that we've got on here today to just quickly go through the short time I have. And that is the death register, as morbid as that sounds, between Stanmore Burial Team and MUS Funeral Services. We have collectively done 119 funerals, which is a mixture of COVID deaths and non-COVID deaths. We've also collated a register of the various communities where they came from. And if I can just quickly reel those out, as morbid as that sounds as well. From our Khoja community, 18. From our Pakistani community, which is the second largest, unfortunately, 22. Iraqi brothers and sisters, 28. Iranian, 12. Indian, 2. Kuwaiti, 5. Bora, 2. Afghani, 4. Lebanese, 3. We've managed to have an amazing relationship with our Hujjat burial team, and a big shout out for Brother Megji, who has been absolutely phenomenal in communication, as well as managing and facilitating the funeral service. In that period, the phenomenal relationship we've created between ourselves to collect bodies as far as a 100-mile radius sometimes, and at difficult times of the day and night, where we've made a commitment to run our funeral service workshops at such short notice sometimes, and in particular mobilizing our sisters team led by Alima Mustajab Zahra, and alhamdulillah the ladies team under her, and including the brothers and the volunteers who stepped forward over those number of days to encourage them to come forward and train them at short notice. In the difficult situations that we had in collecting bodies, sometimes bodies that were approximately 3 weeks at a time in Christian mortuaries and in hospitals. So we made a commitment, my respected ulama and respected brothers and sisters, and that commitment is this: that we have made a commitment to run funeral service workshops for the approximate 70 Shia centers. And I've, after having a conversation with Maulana Ali Raza Rizvi Sahib this morning, apparently it's a lot more than 70, alhamdulillah. And it's a great thing that this COVID situation has brought up and flagged up the many Shia centers around the country that many of us were not aware of, and now we are, alhamdulillah. So what is that? So to train existing funeral service teams, to encourage the 70 Shia centers to form funeral service teams, including male and female, to provide sources to supply genuine PPE, as some suppliers are selling fake PPE, who are putting lives at risk, not just for key workers, but also the NHS and their families. To provide a robust donning and doffing sequence for PPE and critical processes to keep all parties safe, and to have an infection control system in place. One other thing that we feel that we've been negligent, or not negligent, but ignorant of over the years, is providing trauma relief to the families who have been impacted. And apart from COVID and non-COVID deaths, there are other types of deaths that have happened in communities, like suicide. And that is a very important area where we feel that we've not given enough importance to those families, which has had an impact on the wider family, which has led to possibly other suicides and other psychological and mental health issues, which I believe, as we've gone along, we've become almost like trauma relief consultants for many of the families. To provide an after funeral service, and this is another very important one, as you may well know, some of these funeral burial cemeteries and graveyards have been charging an extortionate amount of money, up to £8,000 at some of these burial grounds. So we've made a commitment to provide an after funeral service to help families making to make a claim via the social fund and DWP, which has already started, alhamdulillah, for many of the families, which is a huge help to them. To provide a means to purchase private ambulance and a hearse, alhamdulillah, with the support of our global community, we managed to raise £40,000 in the space of 2 weeks, with the commitment that we have shown to help families in their time of need, to collect bodies at short notice and to give them a respectful burial. And I've relayed this message to the community leaders of those towns and cities, that we find it extremely difficult to ask for donations or ask for help from the families of the bereaved. But the least those communities can do, where the people we're collecting, respective members of their family for funerals, is for them to dip into their pockets to help us sustain this valuable and critical service that we're providing. So you might be asking, how are we going to deliver this service, and what is the strategy? Alhamdulillah, we have created a phenomenal network of volunteers. Many of you know that we have worked in conjunction with other charities over the last 20 years. And over those years, we have created a phenomenal network of volunteers and humanitarians across the globe, which includes some of the best doctors and scientists and medical staff. And through that network, we have created a relationship with the Hujjat burial team, where Brother Saqlain Megji Sahib has kindly stepped forward and said that we would like to share the responsibility of all the above commitments that we have made. And I would like to, at this point, to have a big shout out and a salawat for the Hujjat burial team, alhamdulillah. Because without the leadership that they have shown, and in all communities and organizations around the world, there's always one or two people or one or two teams that show leadership, and then the rest follow. And that's what's happened here, alhamdulillah. And may Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala increase the tawfiqat of all the Hujjat burial team, including our male funeral service team, including our female service funeral team, who have shown immense courage across the board. And those centers across the country, those 6 centers, I believe, I'm not sure whether there's more. I would like to know after this call whether others have been encouraged by the work we have done. So with Hujjat burial team, their ladies team, our ladies team, in this unprecedented crisis, this is the commitment that we have made. And I would also like to request our ulama to make a special dua for all those who are being called by our Lord and Master, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, and all the marhumeen of the kind donors and the anonymous donors who have come forward and understood the need for this critical service, where unfortunately and tragically, we have found that many of our communities have lost faith in Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, or are about to. Where we have situations where father would not touch their son's body and the sons would not touch their father's body. Mothers would not touch their daughter's body and vice versa. And it was heartbreaking to see this kind of situation where we all say we are the believers of Haidar-e-Qarar, we are the believers of Imam Masumin al-Islam, we are preparing the grounds for the coming of Imam al-Zamana. And it pained me and our team to see this kind of situation where we felt that the ulama across the country and across Europe and across the world were maybe not doing enough, that they could have done more to help and encourage and build and strengthen the iman and faith of people so they could come out. And with all due respect to them, I understand this is an unprecedented human crisis. What we feel that we must do is to gel together, and we can make this happen if we all work together, inshallah.
Thank you, brother. You made some excellent points. Unfortunately, we are delayed by about 15 minutes. In terms of your offer, your training offer, inshallah, we will be sending that out with the correct contact details via email to everyone who's attended, inshallah. So
by the way, that email address that you're showing there, that's incorrect. It's actually yes. It's MEMEAFS 14@gmail.com.
Jazakallah. Jazakallah. Thank you. We will send that out via email to everyone. Thank you, brother, for your input there.
Thank you.
Thank you. Moving on. Actually, at this point, can I just check if we have brother Farid Bukhari? Is he on the line? If possible, give him a few seconds. No, he's not there. Okay, we'll move on. Do we have brother Sayyid Hussein, who is an accountant, and he will be presenting this next phase, which is regarding the financial support the government has offered during COVID-19. Sayyid Hussein Murtaza, he may be muted. If the other admin could try and unmute him, please.
Hello.
Hello, Assalamu alaikum. Yes, we can see you and we can hear you, brother. Bismillah. Go ahead, brother. We can hear you and see you.
Assalamu alaikum. This is Sayyid Hussein Murtaza from Nile & Co. Chartered Certified Accountants and Business Advisors. And I also act as independent examiner for the financial statements of Majlis Ulama Shia. Today I've been asked to speak for about 12 minutes, I suppose, on the business support measures available for workers, registered charities, and businesses. So let's start with the businesses first. I'm going to touch base on the headline support measures like JRS, cash grants, business rates holiday, coronavirus business interruption loans, and bounce back loans. The first financial support measure for businesses is the business rate holiday. As you are aware that the industries and sectors which are hit the most by the pandemic are retail, hospitality, and leisure. So the government has announced that if you are in these hardly hit sectors, have business premises from which you operate from, and pay a bit of business rates, then good news for you, there is business rate holiday for whole 12 months, that is for current financial year 2020-21. Now usually you receive a business rates bill sometime in March, so probably you would have already received a bill for the current financial year 2021. And again, ideally and hopefully it should have been revised down to nil. If not, by all means, you can get in touch with your council who would issue a nil bill for your business. Moving on, the second financial support for businesses is the cash grant, again, for these three industries, that is retail, hospitality, and leisure. So if the rateable value of your business premises is under 15 grand, there's a cash grant of £10,000 for your business. If the rateable value of your business premises is between £15,000 to £51,000, then there's a cash grant of £25,000 for your business. Now, I must emphasize that since these are grants, they are non-repayable. So your business is not required to repay these amounts back to the council. Now, if you trade in any industry or any sector, apart from these three hardly hit sectors, and you have a business premises, and you have a registered business account with the council, irrespective of the fact whether you pay any business rates or not, you might be claiming SBRR, that is Small Business Rates Relief. As long as you have a registered account with them, either you pay no business rates or you pay some small amount of business rates, again, there is a cash grant of £10,000 for you from your council. Again, since it's a grant, it's non-repayable. Moving on, we are still on businesses, and the third financial support measure is JRS, that is Job Retention Scheme. Most of you might know this is a scheme in the name of furlough scheme. Unprecedented scheme, no doubt about it. Never happened before. We have had 9/11, we have had 2008 credit crunch, and never in the past government has committed to pay for the wages of the employees. Now, obviously, as a business owner, when the lockdown started to take effect, and for most of the businesses, particularly in retail sector, the turnover went down to nil. I'm pretty sure you wouldn't think twice to make some redundancies and sort of, sack some employees on your payroll because it could be hitting your pocket hard. When I say your pocket, obviously business's pocket. So at that point in time, our star boy, Chancellor Rishi Sunak, suggested that do not get rid of the employees, do not sack employees, keep them on your payroll, and the state will contribute 80% of the wages, 80% of the employment cost for the business. Now, don't forget that the employment cost, the cost to the business to keep any employee on the payroll does not only mean gross wage. It means employer's national insurance contribution and pension contribution. And the good news was that the government said that keep the employees on the payroll, don't sack them, and the government would contribute towards the full employment cost, that is the gross wage, employer's NI, and pension. The scheme was first announced for 3 months, that is March, April, May. Then it was further increased by 1 month to June, and then it was further increased by 4 months to October. We would quickly touch base as to what's the difference between these three, because they're quite important. And secondly, it would also be related to our second and third topic, which is workers in registered charities. So for the first 3 months, March to June, as I suggested, nice and easy, the government would contribute 80% of the employment cost. The business is not supposed to pay anything whatsoever. Even the remaining 20%, the business is not required to top up the remaining 20% to bring the employees' wages up to the 100%. Nice and easy. However, in these 3 months, the business could not ask the employees to come down to work on a part-time basis. In July, figures-wise, everything was still the same. However, the only difference was that the Chancellor literally heard and responded to the outcry of many business owners who suggested that we should be able to invite some of our workforce to come on part-time basis, because till prior to that arrangement, it was either all or nothing. Either you could furlough any employee. Furloughing an employee meant that you cannot do whatsoever, nothing for the business whatsoever, including receiving and making phone calls, including sending and receiving emails, none whatsoever if you're furloughed. From July, you could ask employees to come on a part-time basis and work for you, and obviously the furlough amount would be proportioned in proportion to the time not worked. In month of August, this is going to be the first month where things would start getting a bit interesting, because in August the government would still pay for the gross wage. However, the government would ask business owners and companies and directors to contribute towards the national insurance and pension contributions. In September, the government would only contribute 70% of the employee's gross wage, which means that the business is required to top up with the remaining 10% of the gross wage, along with the employer's NI and pension contributions. In month of October, again, the support is only 60% from the government. Hello, is this still on?
Yeah, still on.
Okay, sorry.
I just shared your screen, the slide. Can I request you, just in the interest of time, apologies for rushing you, if you could move on to the registered charities part, please?
Of course, sure. So the registered charities, the government has announced £750 million worth of package. And out of that, £370 million worth of package has been allocated to the national lottery, and they have introduced a specific community fund, and they are accepting applications from all charities, and this is the fund. Don't forget, charities can get fund in these days from at least 25 different places. However, the biggest fund is going to be the National Lottery Community Fund, because they would directly issue the grants to the charities, and most of the community halls, churches, synagogues, mosques, and imam bargahs would be reaching to this type of fund. You can go online on tnlcommunityfund.org.uk and apply for the grant. Apart from that, before going into the other grants, I would only be able to tell you the names and the scale of the grant available. But before going into that, there is also a loan available, resilience and recovery loan fund. There are no personal guarantees from the trustees involved. It's going to be interest-free and fee-free for the first 12 months. But again, since it's a loan, before considering this option, you've got to ensure that you have a business plan in place as to how will you use the funds and how are you planning to repay the amounts. Going back to the grants, so very quickly, I've got few larger charities listed here who are accepting applications from all sorts of charities like National Emergencies Trust, Heritage Emergency Fund. They are issuing grants between £3,000 to £50,000. The Charity Aid Foundation Fund, they are approving grants up to £10,000. Leather Salad Company Charitable Fund, they are approving grants up to £3,000. The Charitable Trust, grants up to £3,000. John Lewis Partnership Community Fund. The interesting thing is that your local Waitrose store will be deciding on the outcome of your grant application, so it's quite community-based. Standard Life Foundation, grants between £5,000 to £50,000. Barclays Community Aid Package, they have launched a huge package of £100 million worth. Again, anyone can apply to that sort of fund. Apart from that, Tesco, Sir Jules, Thornton Charitable Trust, Neighbouring Community Fund, and Magic Little Grants are just to name a few. So if you have any questions or concerns, just leave a comment, and hopefully I should be around for question and answer session. Even after that, if you have any questions, just drop me a line on info@nileandco.com, and one of my staff members will get in touch. Thank you very much.
Jazakallah. That was really informative. Like you said, brother, there's not much information you could have gone into detail on in such a short period, and as committed, we will send through a PDF to all the attendees, and hopefully you can have some of these, the links and finer details that you mentioned on there. Inshallah. Okay, thank you, brother. We'll move on. We believe Brother Farid is on the line. Farid Fari, could we request you to recite a mankabat for 3 minutes, and then we're moving on to the last. Maybe Brother Farid has not named himself as Farid.
Sayyid Abbas, Sayyid Abbas है, Sayyid Farid Abbas.
Assalamu alaikum, Sayyid.
Alaikum assalam wa rahmatullah.
Thank you. Inshallah, please recite for 3 minutes.
Jazakallah, Jazakallah. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullah. A'udhu billahi minash shaitanir rajim. Bismillahir rahmanir rahim. सबसे पहले मैं मजलिस उलमा शिया यूरोप के जितने भी ऑर्गेनाइजर हैं इस मीटिंग के, उनका शुक्रिया अदा करता हूँ, और स्पेशली जनाब मौलाना सैयद अली रज़ा रिजवी का, जो कि मजलिस उलमा शिया यूरोप के सदर हैं, कि उन्होंने ये इतनी इंफॉर्मेटिव जो मीटिंग है उसका इनेकाद किया। मैं तहे दिल से आपका शुक्रगुजार हूँ, और आपने मुझे भी इसमें ज़िक्र मोहम्मद वाले मोहम्मद के लिए मदद किया। मैं बहुत ज़्यादा आपका शुक्रगुजार हूँ। तो एक दुआ जो इमाम ज़माना की मुनासबत से है, एक मनकबत, वो आपकी खिदमत में पेश करने का शरफ हासिल करूँगा। बुलंद तर सलावत। अल्लाहुम्मा सल्ली अला मुहम्मद व आले मुहम्मद। अल्लाह मुझे लश्करे महदी से मिला दे, अल्लाह मुझे लश्करे महदी से मिला दे। ایسا نہ ہو آقا میرا حل من کی صدا دے اللہ مجھے لشکر مہدی سے ملا دے اور نظروں کو میری لائق دیدار بنا دے نظروں کو میری لائق دیدار بنا دے پردہ جو پڑا ہے میری آنکھوں پہ ہٹا دے ہادی زمان کا رخ پر نور دکھا دے ہادی زمان کا رخ پر نور دکھا دے ہر ایک نشان کفر و ضلالت کا مٹا دوں ہر راہ میں ایک دیپ صداقت کا جلا دوں اس خیر عمل کی مجھے توفیق خدا دے اس خیر عمل کی مجھے توفیق خدا دے اور شبیر کے انصار میں شامل ہو میرا نام شبیر کے انصار میں شامل ہو میرا نام جوہر کا ہو محشر میں وہی ہو میرا انجام ہاں کہ قدم حضرت شبیر بنا دے ہاں کہ قدم حضرت شبیر بنا دے اللہم صلی علی محمد و آل محمد وعجل فرجهم محمد بہت شکریہ جزاک اللہ
Thank you. Brother Shabi, could you put up a poll? It's connected to the previous session. There's a finance poll. I think there's one question. If we just can play that for 30 seconds and ask all the participants to respond. And then following that, we are going on to our next segment. Let me share. I'll share once the poll has completed. Let me know. Inshallah.
Okay, the poll has started.
It's a short one, so let's give them 20 seconds. Read out that question and the results further.
Okay, so this one only have one question. Financially, how has your center been coping or managing during lockdown? So the 61% said managing internally, which is a majority. 35% said currently struggling with costs, so they need help. And 4% said have assessed government provided assistance.
Okay, thank you. That's going to be very helpful. I'll now invite Brother Misam. We're just going to do a small segment on a couple of the projects that MUS have been running. Just sharing the screen. Oh, sorry, brother, you're sharing the screen. Let me stop mine. Could you share again? Yeah, we can see now.
Okay, thank you, Brother Amir. A quick update on Shia Spouse. I hope everyone is now familiar with this service. It was launched last year, although this is a service MUS have been offering for several years. So we developed a new website, which is shiaspouse.org. It was launched last year, and we got a very good response from the community. Today, I'm going to give you very quick updates on how the service is working, what improvements we are bringing in. So this is a service managed by Imamiyyah Council R&D team. Currently, we have 803 users, almost 50-50 split between male and female. The database is growing rapidly. Last 2 months, mainly due to Ramazan and maybe due to pandemic, were a bit slowed down. Otherwise, every month we have a good increase in the database. So these are the current users. We have deleted almost 250 users who are inactive, just to make sure the database is clean and we have active users who are actively searching for their partner. And as it's a new website, so we launched it last year. We were continuously working on it, looking into the areas where we could improve and bring it to the standard where any other matchmaking website is offering an excellent service. So we have completed development. It is currently being tested, and inshallah, next week it will go live. The new features would include online status of the users. If someone is working on the website, searching for other members, the other members would be able to see the status when they were online previously, just to give other users help in understanding who is actively searching for a partner. The chat function has been improved. It would be pretty much like WhatsApp, where you would see if there's a new message, the latest message would appear at the top. Improvements in the layout and updated sign up to gather more and more info at the beginning, and some bugs fixes which were reported to us as well. We will have a dedicated part-time admin as the workload has increased. So we have been working as a voluntarily to support it, but now it's time that we offer a paid admin service, which will inshallah improve the service quality as well. There will be a chat widget integrated on our website to allow users and other people to chat with the admin to get any help. and the aim is to provide one-to-one service to our website users. Shia Spouse TV program, it was started in March, and very successful program. Our database increased rapidly. Then there was a break for almost 1.5 months. The program broadcasting was stopped during the month of Ramazan, and inshallah it will be resuming shortly. And the host is Sister Uzma Jaffrey. It is streamed on Ahlibad TV on weekly basis. The time and the date will be communicated to the community through different channels once it is resumed. So that was just a very quick update. So please go to the website www.shiaspouse.org. Register for yourself if you're looking, or for your family members, friends, relatives, and spread the word. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Just sharing screen. I would like to invite Brother Kazim Marufi for a brief update on the Sharia board service that started a year ago.
Okay. أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. Dear ulamas and respected participants, Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullah. Alhamdulillah, with the grace of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, we have a service which is active and running. And it is as comprehensive as the name suggests, meaning that it caters for and it includes all matters of religion and Islamic law, particularly and predominantly in relation to domestic issues and familial issues, so marriage and divorce. However, there's another topic which is not highlighted as often, and therefore its importance has been diminished and reduced somewhat, and that is the issue pertaining to will and inheritance. I'm sure you've all heard this famous narration, whoever dies and does not know the Imam of his time dies the death of ignorance. The same phrase, the same sentence has been used in another narration from the Ma'asumin alayhi salam, and it is Mammata bila wasiyatin mata jahiliya, mata mitatan jahiliya, that whoever dies without having a wasiyah or will dies a death of an ignorance. And it's for obvious reasons, because there are so many rights which are encroached and infringed as a result of that. If you are indebted to somebody, if you are liable to any damage, if you have taken a loan from somebody, hukuk Allah, hukuk nas, if you have missed prayers, if you have missed fast, if you haven't done your wajib hajj, kafarat, khums, and so on and so forth. If these things are impending, if they are on your shoulders, then writing a wasiyah becomes wajib. And there's lots of emphasis in the Quran. Kutiba alaykum idha hadara ahadakumul maut in taraka khayra al-wasiyah lilwalidain wal-aqrabin bil-ma'ruf haqqan 'ala al-muttaqin, that it has been prescribed upon you when death approaches you that you write a wasiyah for your parents, for your dear ones, for your relatives, bil-ma'ruf, in an honorable manner, fairly and correctly, haqqan 'ala al-muttaqin, which is a duty, which is a decree upon the mu'mineen, upon the God-wary and the God-conscious people, the pious people. So that's also a sign of piety to write a will. And narrations such as min al-dhunub allati turasu nidam, from amongst the sins, the word is sins, that bring perpetual regret in the hereafter, it is to leave your will, not to write it. Tarkul wasiyah. Ma yanbaghi li imra'in muslimin an yabita laylatan illa wasiyatuhu tahta rasihi, that it is not befitting of a Muslim that he sleeps at night, yet his wasiyah is not under his pillow, meaning it is easily accessible to him. And there are many, many more traditions. And I think this probably serves as a prelude to the next segment of our talk, which inshallah Brother Amir Saklan will be elucidating and shedding more light. And I highly suggest that you guys pray for his long life, and may Allah reward him abundantly, because he does work, as well as all the other R&D members and other people who are involved in our projects. Every other project or proposals that we have, they only see the light of day because of these people. So in short, we have a service and it is easily accessible. All you need to do is go on the Majlis website and you go to the segment of Sharia board, and therein you type in all your details, and thereafter you mention your preferred language in which you want to be communicated with, and it is all your information will be kept discreet. It will not be given to any third parties except and until it is needed and we have your permission, and then you submit, and then we get back in touch with you as soon as possible. Obviously, for us to work efficiently and to our optimum capacity, the need for having our own office becomes even more apparent, because we have certain ideas. We want to have a hotline which you can call and get a prompt and immediate response. We want to have a consultation room where people can come with their disputed issues pertaining to reconciliation, mediation, inheritance, and so on and so forth, and they can get the adequate response and guidance that they require. So in short and in a nutshell, we have a service. Do not just use it and utilize for istikhara, because we get at times people who just want istikhara done. No, it is far beyond that. It is for getting a direction. It is for having advice and guidance, which is the primary objective in Islam before any secondary measures that you make. I pray to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala that He continues to give us tawfiq, further tawfiq, and to bestow His favors upon us. And we also seek your relentless and continuous and committed prayers and support, so that all our ideas, pending ideas that we have, they materialize into reality quickly and swiftly. Wa akhiru da'wana anil hamdulillahi rabbil alameen.
As you have just referred to, as you can probably see on the screen, Al-Samad Wills. So Al-Samad Wills is a separate organization founded by Brother Sayyid Kamil Raza, and he has been in touch with MUS for a couple of years on this now, but we have now got into a position where we have reviewed the policies, we've agreed processes between Samad Wills and Majlis Ulama Shia Sharia board. So the Sharia board will be providing essentially religious consultancy on each will that is processed via Al Samad Wills. We will be sending a detailed comms out to everyone so that you can understand how you can access this service. Currently, it's accessible directly from Al Samad's Will website that you can see, but there will also be a portal on the Majlis Ulama website where you can also access the service from. But essentially, the Al Samad Will site has been very well constructed. They've gone through a very comprehensive legal review of not just their will template, but their guidance documentation around wills. They're taking into account the UK law, they're taking into account many religious aspects already, and they don't just write your will, or they don't just review your will, they'll actually securely store your will, and also allow for edits to be done free of cost. So more details around that service will be provided, and probably will need a dedicated session for it. But you can find most of the information on their website. In the interest of time, I'm going to leave it there and move on. So the next segment is the question and answer segment, which we are a bit delayed for. So I will request to keep the session maximum 10 minutes. So it's open floor. If anybody has a question, if you can put a message in the chat box and we can unmute you if you would like to ask the question or make a comment in, verbally, or if you would like the question just read out, just type your question in the chat box, and the ulama will respond, or a member or one of the presenters that have spoken earlier. Just looking at the chat box. Or you can raise your hands if you can raise your virtual hand if you'd like to ask a question.
Okay, Brother Mansoor, this one.
Hello, Assalamu alaikum.
Alaikum assalam.
Alaikum assalam.
There is a suggestion from me to MUS that even when
we can hear you, brother.
We will still need some protective gear, mask, things like gloves, PPE. I was suggesting that perhaps instead of each mosque or Imam Barga trying to get hold of it themselves, perhaps MUS can be a center point where all of us can go and give their order, and perhaps we will get it in bulk at a cheaper rate, and it will be good for everyone, for MUS as well, and to all the mosques and Imam Bargas. Thank you.
Thank you. Is that from Malana Jafar Najam had spoken about this, or alternatively, Dr. Naqvi could respond?
Yes, well, we are very sorry, Marana. We will be very, very happy if you have in order to place. So I myself is there, so you can contact me later on, or you can contact Marana Abbas Naqvi or anybody else. So inshallah, we will be there. We can get all the PPEs we have here. We have almost more than 300 set of proper PPE kits, okay, all both disposable and washable. Thank you.
Thank you. We'll keep it short. Moving on to the next question. Just raise your hand. Otherwise, we're just flicking through the chat box to see if there was a previous question raised. Looks like a quiet audience. That's fine. If there's no other questions, we can move on.
I mean, there's a few questions on the chat.
Okay, Bismillah, go ahead.
Okay, so the first question from Brother Israr Hussain. Salam, do you have any resources, templates for social distancing, pores, etc.?
I can answer that. So at the moment, in terms of templates or documentation, we have got a set of documentation shared by the Muslim Council of Britain, who work very closely with BIMA, the British Islamic Medical Association, I believe. So they have produced a detailed risk assessment template and also a pictorial or kind of illustrated posters for social distancing and other aspects. So we will share the links to their documents, and also we have documentation from MINA, which is also very helpful. So we'll share that in the pack after the meeting.
Okay, the
Any
next
other-
question is from Brother Ali. Is there any government guidance given already when we open our centers?
I can just briefly respond to that. So in Dr. Hui's segment, I think he had already responded to most of that. Although what the key point now is that we're waiting for that next phase, which is the 4th of July. So 4th of July was the planned date for reopening places of worship under certain conditions. Now that under certain conditions is still not clear. We're still waiting for further instructions and safety guidance to say what tests would they want us to perform as places of worship before we can allow people in. Because in the retail space, what they've done is they're allowing even non-essential shops to open, but they've given them 5 tests to conduct. So we're waiting for that kind of detail before we can be very specific and clear. At the meantime, there is guidance out there which is kind of full of assumptions, but it kind of is based around the social distancing rule and the use of PPE, which we will share as previously said.
Okay, next question from Brother Sayyid Musavi. Can you please share contact details to get advice on government support on finance or grants?
Inshallah, that will be part of the pack that we'll send out with the help of Sayyid Hussain.
Okay, sure. And then his sister, Lady Khadija Events, I think that's, maybe that's a charity name, would just like to congratulate MUS for its online classes for children most needed at this time. And Ulama acted, alhamdulillah. So just some feedback. Can you see? Next question is from Brother Najaf. What is the date when centers could reopen with the set guidelines? I think we've already mentioned this, but if you want to.
Yeah, it's like just mentioned in the Q&A, 4th of July is the day where some form of collective worship will be allowed. We just don't know the finer details around that stage. And they've already announced for individual or private prayer. But for us, that doesn't really work. So, from a Imam Bargah or a masjid perspective, we do things collectively. So from that perspective, 4th of July is still the date to look out for.
Okay, next question, Brother Said. He's asking, what does the kit consists of? Because Maulana Jafar Najam's mentioned that there are 300 sets, but what does the set consist of?
There is I think there's goggles, and apart from goggles, there is the whole set of the I don't know, I cannot explain, but Brother Sijaj Shah, may I ask you to explain, please? Sijaj Shah sir. He's busy with the phone. Sijaj Shah sir.
I think somebody needs to unmute me. Can you hear me now?
Yes, we can hear you now.
Right, okay, the full PPE kit basically includes the hazmat suit, the long sleeve gloves, including the face visor, the hair netting. It also includes, I'm not sure whether you're going to agree with this or not, Wellingtons. And then it includes a special kind of a goggle that don't steam up. You've got to be careful with these type of goggles, because if you wear some of these goggles, you can't, after a few minutes, you can't see what you're doing. So they're ventilated goggles, which are medical grade. What I can do is I can send a list of all those items, and what is absolutely key to not just knowing what the PPE kit is, but knowing what the donning and doffing process is, which a lot of people unfortunately do not know, on how to wear the equipment and how to take it off. It's absolutely important for infection control. And what I've done is I've compiled documentation for the organizations where we'll be running the workshops, to give them a step-by-step guide and a visual guide as well. I've created like a little mini video as well as a document that will help you literally step by step, so there is no room for error.
Exactly, great answer. Any other questions?
Another question from Brother Said Musavi. Will MUS be drafting a guidance document for reopening of centers?
Yes, it will be.
Okay, the next one from Sayyid Abbas Rizvi. What suggestion MUS have to UK and European community members regarding the coming Eid al-Azha? How can we carry out Zabiyah this year? So Qurbani, so this is also, I think we can leave this for one of our scholars to answer.
One
second.
Okay, Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. We can try and set something up from Majlis Ulama to give Qurbani in different countries, especially in Pakistan, many other countries who are going through a huge turmoil in terms of the poor people not working. So inshallah we can organize for Eid al-Adha for people to give their Qurbani in the poor countries, and then we can probably have a choice of different countries that they want to donate in, and that will be set up inshallah.
Was there any other questions, Brother Shabi?
Next is just MUS will need various signage and informative posters. Maybe they're just looking for templates from Brother Mansoor. And then is there any rules on committee members at centers if they are vulnerable, such they be on the committee? So I think that's all included in the guidance.
Yeah, there's a general section on guidance for people who are more vulnerable. So I don't think it goes down to exclusion from a committee, but it's more around whether they should be in public places or not. So yeah, that is part of the guidance.
So they can still be on the committee, it's just.
Yeah, maybe right.
Yeah.
Yeah. So if it's okay, I think we should end the Q&A here.
Can I just come in there just for a second?
Okay.
We've got a very tight schedule. What I would like to do is peel out and reach out to those 70 centers and maybe request the other centers that Maulana Rizvi Saab has alluded to. If we can get details of the presidents, the general secretaries, because I would like to send out a blanket email to all of them to respond via that email rather than my WhatsApp. And trust me, I've got 3 phones and I get about 800 WhatsApp messages a day and 800 emails a day. And it's extremely difficult to keep up with that. I'm looking for a PA, but it's difficult to find anybody who I can keep more than 3 weeks before they burn out. So I'm trying to manage that. So I would like to say if the centers can reach out to us, or if I can get their details from yourselves, I can send out a blanket email.
Yeah, what we're going to do is we're going to do a comms piece to everyone who had attended this particular call, and where we've got permission to send other comms, we can provide that distribution to you. So inshallah,
that would be absolutely fantastic. It will make my life so much easier, and also the organizations that we want to reach out. So I can schedule, I mean, this workshop training, it may take 6 months to reach out to everybody. And I can tell you when I was doing the fundraising in the 40 centers, it took me about 3 months. I don't know how we managed to do that, but we did. But this is a different challenge altogether, which requires very meticulous training.
Yeah, agreed, definitely. And that's going to be a vital service, so thank you. If I can request now that we move to Maulana Ali Raza Rizvi for his speech, inshallah.
أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم الحمد لله رب العالمين والعاقبة لأهل التقوى واليقين والصلاة والسلام على أشرف الأنبياء والمرسلين خاتم النبيين بالقاسم محمد. Everyone, Assalamu alaikum jamia wa rahmatullah. Very briefly, I would like to first of all thank all the participants, the Ulama Kiram, all the members of Majlis Ulama, the members of the cabinet who have worked very hard to put this together, especially Dr. Abbas Naqvi, the central coordinator for Imamiyyah Council, all the people responsible for the different centers, Imam Bargahs, all over UK, the Shia centers, and Europe. Other than the ulama, the mu'mineen, the responsible people, the people who have been working in the funeral front, the ulama who have been working, especially Maulana Imran Hussain, who has been working tirelessly on the front of the classes, Brother Sajjad Shah, and the rest of the people. And the R&D team, Brother Amir Saqlain, and all of the brothers. I cannot, if I just wanted to read out the list of all the people that I wanted to thank, my 10 minutes will be over. Very briefly, I would like to probably try and compress everything in less than 10 minutes. In Majlis Ulama Shia Europe, we're trying to serve the community in whole of Europe, in whole of Britain, as much as we can in terms of organizing things and putting things together. Few suggestions I want to make. Number one, do not rush into opening the Imam Bargahs. We need to make sure that you have all the guidelines have to be fully followed. Do not compromise on anything before you open. So follow all the guidelines that the government has given, and then our team has put together all of the guidelines. So follow them, appoint a person who will be responsible. And even then when you open up, and we will be, inshallah, in the future talking about how we deal with Muharram Majlis, how do we hold our Muharram Majlis, Muharram ki Majlis kaise barpa karni hai, inshallah unka hum pura aapko guideline baad mein bhejenge, abhi time nahi hai, hum inshallah ek aur meeting karenge baad mein ki unko kaise barpa kiya jaye. Abhi hukumat ki taraf se jo kholne ka bata rahe hain, ऐलान कर रहे हैं, कुछ मालूम नहीं सेकंड वेव कब आती है, अल्लाह करे ना आए, हम दुआएं कर रहे हैं. तो पहली चीज ये है कि अगर आप इमाम बारगाहों को मसाजिद खोलने लगे हैं तो वो तमाम गाइडलाइंस जो हमारी टीम ने आपके लिए लिखी हैं उन्हें फॉलो करें, स्ट्रिक्टली फॉलो करें, उन्हें बहुत अहमियत दें. और ये जो हुकूमत की तरफ से गाइडलाइंस आई हैं उनके अलावा जो हमारी टीमों ने मुख्तलिफ जो लोगों ने एक्सपर्ट्स ने बैठ के उलमा के साथ बहुत बड़े बड़े एक्सपर्ट्स बैठे हैं, उन्होंने सबने इस पर बड़ी मेहनत की है. सो प्लीज फॉलो दोज गाइडलाइंस, उसको बहुत स्ट्रिक्टली फॉलो करें. दूसरा मेरा ये है कि बच्चों की तालीम वगैरह पे हरज ना हो. बेहतरीन फुर्सत है बच्चों की तालीम पे, जो क्लासेस शुरू हैं इससे भरपूर फायदा उठाएं. मदारिस जो है ऑनलाइन जो इमाम बारगाहें कर रही हैं ठीक है, नहीं तो मजलिस उलमा शिया यूरोप की हम क्लासेस जो कर रहे हैं उससे उसमें बहुत अच्छे काबिल और सेलेक्ट हैं जो क्लासेस को कर रहे हैं, आप उसको फॉलो करें. तीसरा ये है कि हम अभी मौजूदा सूरत हाल के अंदर ना ईद उल अजहा ना मुहर्रम यानी किसी चीज का भी बहुत ज्यादा क्लियर आपको गाइडलाइन नहीं दे सकते कि हम कहेंगे हाँ कर लें. जब तक कि खुद आप जो कुछ करेंगे आप मजलिस उलमा के कहने पे नहीं खोल सकते, बल्कि आपको अपने इमाम बारगाह के अंदर खुद मेक श्योर करना पड़ेगा कि आपके पास वो तमाम की तमाम चीजें हैं या नहीं है जो हमने बताई हैं. तो ये नहीं कह सकते कि मजलिस उलमा ने कहा कि हाँ आप लोग 20 जुलाई के बाद मिसाल के तौर पर खोल लें अगर आपके पास ये शराइत पूरी है. शराइत आप खुद देखेंगे फिर आप लोग खोलें. और ये जो हमने भी बहरहाल एक हम पीपी गेट वगैरह ली है और दूसरे शरिया बोर्ड का जो हमारा पूरा का पूरा भी इसमें अल्हम्दुलिल्लाह काफी काम मेहनत हुई है, उसको फॉलो करें. एक और जो चीज मैं इशारा करना चाह रहा हूँ मजलिस उलमा को, ये तमाम काम करने के लिए फुल टाइम एक ऑफिस पूरे के पूरे ऑफिस वर्कर के साथ साथ मुख्तलिफ जो हमारे एडमिन्स हैं, हमें फुल टाइम ऑफिस की जरूरत है. हमने बिल्डिंग जो है वो देख ली है, हम काफी कोशिश कर रहे हैं उसको लेने की. अल्हम्दुलिल्लाह हमने ओवर 150,000 पाउंड हमने रेज कर लिया है. 160-70,000 पाउंड के करीब हमारे पास हैं कैश इन हैंड, और उसके अलावा 150,000 हमने लोन्स ले लिए हैं. तो हमारे पास ओवर 300,000 पाउंड यानी 3 लाख पाउंड से ऊपर हमारे पास है. 1.5 लाख हमने लोन्स लिए हैं, 1.5 लाख से ऊपर हमारे पास डोनेशंस की शक्ल में मौजूद है. हम अपने तमाम इदारों के जो सेंटर्स के जो एग्जीक्यूटिव्स हैं उनसे दरख्वास्त करेंगे कि वो उसके अंदर हमारे साथ कोऑपरेट करें. अगर आप लोग जितना हो सके हमें अगर डोनेट करें ताकि हम ये ऑफिस सेटअप करें. हमें उसमें अशद ज़रूरत है. हमारी बुक्स वगैरह सारी की सारी मुख्तलिफ सेंटर्स में पड़ी हैं, हम चाहते हैं कि ये शुरू हो. एक और चीज़ मेरी सज्जाद शाह साहब से बात हो रही थी कि हम हर इमाम बारगाह के अंदर पॉसिबल नहीं है, हत्ता लंदन के अक्सर इमाम बारगाहों में भी फ्यूनरल सर्विसेज नहीं है. हम ये चाहते हैं कि ये मजलिस उलमा हम पहले से इसमें कोशिश करते रहे. फिर अल्हम्दुलिल्लाह हमारे पास ये मिसाल भी मौजूद है लूटन इमाम बारगाह मस्जिद अली की, सज्जाद शाह साहब और इनकी पूरी जो टीम ने काम किया. हम चाहते हैं कि आप लोग हर बड़े शहर में एक बाकायदा पूरी फुल फ्यूनरल सर्विस हो जिसमें फ्यूनरल डायरेक्टर हो और पूरी غسل کفن دینے کی ٹیم ہو. تو ہر بڑے شہر میں کم از کم جیسے مانچسٹر میں، برمنگھم میں، بریڈفورڈ میں، نیو پورٹ اور برسٹل میں مل کے ایک ہو جائے. یعنی اس طرح سے ریجنل جو ہے ہمارے پاس ایک اچھی فیونرل ڈائریکٹرشپ ہونی چاہیے تاکہ ہم آئندہ آنے والے مسائل سے بھی، اور اس میں کورونا سے یہ ایک اچھا نتیجہ نکلا کہ ہم لوگ دیکھ رہے ہیں کہ ہمارے یو کے میں نہیں ہے، جیسے گلاسگو ایڈنبرا وغیرہ میں ایک ہو جائے. تو اس طرح سے کہ جو سارے کے سارے کیسز کو ڈیل کر سکیں. لاسٹ بٹ ناٹ لیسٹ کہ اپنی کمیونٹی کے اندر جو لوگ مسائل سے گزر رہے ہیں ان سے رابطہ رکھیں، اور لوگوں کے جو اگر آپ لوگ یعنی جتنے بھی آپ کے چاہے وہ کمیونٹی ممبران بیمار ہوں کوئی یا بیچارے پریشان ہوں، ان کو سپورٹ کی ضرورت ہوتی ہے. آپ ان کو سپورٹ، اور اگر through trauma you need to counsel people to help them, to assist them. They need all of those helps. اور کوئی بھی مسئلہ ہو جائے اس کے اندر جو ہے ہم اگر حاضر ہیں ہمیں بتائیں، ہم ہر طرح سے جو ہے بھرپور آپ کا مدد کریں گے. اور موجودہ صورتحال کے اندر یہ جو ہماری پوری ٹیم نے کہا ہے کہ آپ کو گرانٹس وغیرہ کا یا فارم فل کرنے کا جس طرح کی ہیلپ آپ کو چاہیے ہو، آپ ہمارے جو ہے وہ ٹیم سے رابطہ کر سکتے ہیں، ہم سے رابطہ کر سکتے ہیں. انشاءاللہ تعالیٰ یہ آپ کو گائیڈ کریں گے. ہمارے جو سید حسین مرتضی صاحب نے کہا ماشاءاللہ مجلس علماء کے لیے ہمیشہ کوآپریٹ کیا، پوری ٹیم ہے. میں نے کہا پہلے آپ سے کہا کہ میں سب کے نام نہیں لے سکوں گا، اس میں بے انتہا لوگ ہیں جو کام کر رہے ہیں جن کی اس میں محنت ہے. تو میں نے if I have not mentioned any names میں معذرت چاہوں گا کیونکہ ہم لوگ we have gone over time. میں اس لیے جو ہے میں نے ساری اسپیچ کے اپنے پوائنٹس پہ چھوڑ دیا. صرف میری ایک درخواست ہوگی کہ ان برے وقتوں کے اندر اپنے خود بیک ہوم in many of the countries, in many different countries people are struggling financially. People are there are going to be many problems here. ابھی کھلے گا، کھلنے کے بعد ابھی یہ جو شروع میں گرانٹس تھیں 3 4 6 مہینے کے لیے، تو ابھی فائنینشیل لوگوں کی جاب چلی گئی ہیں، بڑی ملٹی نیشنل کمپنیاں کلیپس کر گئی ہیں، بہت سے بزنسز ختم ہو گئے ہیں. تو لوگ ابھی جو ہیں اسٹرگل کریں گے اس کے اندر جو ہے واچ آؤٹ فار ایچ ادر اینڈ اسسٹ ایچ ادر. تو ہم شکریہ ادا کرتے ہیں کہ ہمارے تقریباً یہاں پہ اس وقت 130-140 تک لوگ گئے ہیں، اور اس کے اندر ہمارے میرے خیال میں over 65 سینٹرز میں جو ہے الحمدللہ اس میں پارٹیسپیٹ کیا. ہم لوگ شکریہ ادا کرتے ہیں. تو الحمدللہ all over UK we have 130 Shia centers, probably more now, جس میں 70 something سینٹرز ہیں پاکستانی انڈین کمیونٹی کے. اس میں ہمارے پھر خوجہ حضرات کے تقریباً سینٹرز ہیں، ایرانین کے ہیں، عراقیوں کے ہیں، لیبنیز کے ہیں، ہماری افغانی کمیونٹی برادران کے ان کے ہیں. So we want to reach out to everyone and stick together as a community. We are all one. We should not segregate. We should not differentiate in this current situation, especially under the circumstances that the American community has complained, the black community in America has complained. We stand firm with all of the minorities and all the oppressed people. And our Afghan community has suffered. Many of the African community members, blacks have suffered. So we support and endorse all of them. And there shouldn't be any racism and any prejudices based on language, skin color, or any of those. So we are with all the oppressed people. And if there is any help, any assistance that we can provide in any front, if it was in our capacity, inshallah we will be, and we are with you till the end, inshallah. Wassalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
Jazakallah, Maulana Ali Rasa Rizvi. We now will move on to hand over to Maulana Fida Bukhari, who will carry out the dua. But before that, there will be an update to the MUS exams. And then at the end, after the dua, we have got a video message from Wajid al-Islam Ali Alami, but it is 20 minutes long, so we're going to keep that right to the end. For those who can spare the 20 minutes, please feel free to stay on at the end. But we are now going to have a quick update on the exam dates, and then the dua by Maulana Fida Bukhari.
Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. Majlis Ulama Shia یورپ کی اس امامیہ کانفرنس میں جتنے بھی ہمارے برادران اسلامی سینٹروں کے جو ہیں مسئولین اور علماء کرام جو شرکت کر رہے ہیں اللہ تبارک تعالیٰ ان سب کی توفیقات خیر میں اضافہ فرمائے اور باقیاً اپنی ملی اور مذہبی ذمہ داری کو آپ پورا کر رہے ہیں۔ مجلس علماء شیعہ یورپ جو ہے الحمدللہ اس نے اس کووڈ-19 کے دور میں اپنی فعالیت جو ہے پہلے سے بھی تقریباً 10 گنا زیادہ بڑھا دی ہے اور بچوں کے لیے کلاسیں جو ہیں وہ قائم کی ہیں اور ماہ رمضان میں المجلس ٹی وی جو ہے وہ چلایا ہے اور اس کے علاوہ جو شریعہ بورڈ اور بہت ساری جو چیزیں ہیں جو کہ کمیونٹی کی خدمت کے لیے وہ کر رہے ہیں، تو اللہ تبارک تعالیٰ ہم سب کی توفیقات خیر میں اضافہ فرمائے۔ تو مجلس علماء جو ہر سال امتحان بچوں کے لیتی تھی، اس دفعہ یہ ہے کہ آن لائن یہ امتحان ہوں گے۔ آج سے رجسٹریشن جو ہے وہ شروع ہو چکی ہے، تو 7 کتابوں کے جو MUS بک جو 7 کتابیں ہیں ان 7 کتابوں کا امتحان ہوگا اور یہ آن لائن امتحان ہے اور اس کے لیے اس طرح سے تو نہیں ہے کہ بعد میں سرٹیفکیٹ دیے جائیں اور ایوارڈ سرمنی منعقد کی جائے، وہ تو نہیں ہے۔ یہ قسم کی اسیسمنٹ ہے کہ بچے جو پڑھ رہے ہیں ان کو معلوم ہونا چاہیے کہ ہم نے جو پڑھا ہے تو کتنا حاصل کیا ہے۔ تو یہ 5 جولائی کو 2 بجے امتحان ہے۔ جو بچے پڑھ رہے ہیں آن لائن ان کو چاہیے کہ رجسٹریشن کریں اور والدین جو ہیں وہ بھی ان کے ساتھ تعاون کریں، تو آج سے رجسٹریشن کھل جائے گی 14 جون سے، اور یہ جو ہے رجسٹریشن وہ 30 جون تک جاری رہے گی۔ اس کے بعد جو ہے 5 جولائی کو امتحان ہوں گے۔ تو میں اس سلسلے میں المجلس ٹی وی کے لیے جو بڑی ہارڈ محنت کی سید محمد نقوی اور جو MUS ایگزامینیشن بورڈ کے سیکرٹری ہیں، اگر 2-3 منٹ اگر آپ دیں تو وہ یعنی امتحان کا طریقہ کار کس طرح سے ہوگا وہ بریف کریں، اس کے بعد میں دعا پڑھتا ہوں۔
Bismillah. Go ahead, Brother Muhammad. I think he's muted.
Auzu billahi minash shaitanir rajim. Bismillahir rahmanir rahim. Brother, can you hear me?
Yes.
Before I start talking about the process of our online assessment system, I would like to quickly highlight some milestones MUS has achieved in the examinations. So we started the exam process in 2015 and we've had 7 MUS exams. Since the exam has started, 3,500 candidates have registered for the exam. Now this year, the formal MUS exam will be replaced by an online assessment due to the coronavirus, and the online assessment will allow candidates to check how much they have learned during the academic year in their Islamic centers, as well as the MUS zone classes. The exam doesn't have the same regulations and rules, but we have put in rules in place to minimize cheating and maximize good practice. And this will only be done with the help of the parents. So we have asked the parents to become our online invigilators, and there are some rules and regulations that they will be following. But from MUS's side, what we've done is we've added an online timer for the exam. Each time a candidate opens the exam, it would be a random choices of questions will be given to everyone. And we have an expiry date on the exam, and we've also attempted, we also have added a limit, so it's 1 exam per candidate. So if they refresh the link, it won't work. So these are just briefly just highlighting some of the restrictions we've added in place to minimize cheating. But we have also asked the parents to become the invigilators. So they will be stopping children from using the MUS books to aid in answering the questions, stopping them from using the internet or asking their siblings. So these are some of the highlights that we have done so far. The online registration is now live. So once parents do register, they will receive a link via an email on the day of the exam. Jazakallah khair.
جی دعا پڑھتے ہیں. امام زمانہ علیہ الصلوۃ والسلام کی یہ دعا ہے، اور چونکہ یہ ولی عصر کنونشن ہوتا تھا جون میں اور اس کی جگہ پہ یہ کانفرنس ہو رہی ہے، تو امام زمانہ علیہ الصلوۃ والسلام کی دعا پڑھتے ہیں. بسم اللہ الرحمن الرحیم. الہی عظم البلاء وبرح الخفاء وانكشف الغطاء وانقطع الرجاء وضاقت الأرض ومنيت السماء وأنت المستعان وإليك المشتكى وعليك المؤول في شدة والرخاء. اللهم صل على محمد وآل محمد أولي الأمر الذين فرضت علينا طاعتهم وعرفتنا بذلك منزلتهم ففرج لنا بحقهم فرجا عاجلا قريبا كلمح البصر أو هو أقرب. يا محمد يا علي يا علي يا محمد اكفياني فإنكما كافيان وانصراني فإنكما ناصران. يا مولانا يا صاحب الزمان الغوث 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 أدركني 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 الساعة 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 الأجل الأجل الأجل. يا أرحم الراحمين بحق محمد وآله الطاهرين. بسمك العظيم العظم العز الأجل الأكرم. يا الله يا الله يا الله يا رحمن يا رحمن يا رحمن يا رحيم يا رحيم يا رحيم يا مقلب القلوب والأبصار يا مدبر الليل والنهار يا محول الحول والأحوال حول حالنا إلى أحسن الحال. پروردگار تجھے واسطہ محمد و آل محمد کا ہم سب پر نظر کرم فرما. پروردگار مجلس علماء شیعہ یورپ جو دینی خدمات انجام دے رہی ہے، میرے اللہ اس کی توفیقات خیر میں مزید اضافہ فرما. میرے اللہ جتنے بھی ہمارے برادران اسلامی سینٹر کے مسئولین اور اپنی اپنی جگہ پہ خدمت انجام دے رہے، پروردگار سب کی توفیقات خیر میں اضافہ فرما. پروردگار یہ امامیہ کانفرنس کو منظم کرنے میں، ترتیب دینے میں ہماری جو RNT ٹیم ہے اور مولانا ڈاکٹر نقوی صاحب اور جتنے بھی ہماری کیبنٹ کے افراد ہیں، اور سب سے زیادہ مولانا سید علی رضا رضوی صاحب جو خدمات انجام دے رہے ہیں، پروردگار ان کو عمر طویل عطا فرما. پروردگار ہم سب پر نظر کرم فرما. ہمارے آقا و مولا امام زمانہ کے ظہور میں تعجیل فرما. پروردگار ہم سب کو اس جو آفت آئی ہوئی ہے کرونا وائرس سے محفوظ فرما. ہمارے جو مریض ہیں ہسپتالوں میں، میرے اللہ ان کو شفائے کاملہ و عاجلہ عطا فرما. ہمارے جتنے بھی دنیا سے جا چکے ہیں اس کرونا وائرس کی وجہ سے، اور دیگر جو ہمارے مرحومین ہیں، ان سب کو جوار رحمت میں جگہ عنایت فرما. اللهم صل على محمد وآل محمد وعجل فرجا.
Okay, we've just made a decision that in terms of playing the video from Ali Alimi, that will be sent via email as part of the information that would also be sent out after the meeting, because it's been quite a long time, coming on to 3 hours. So apologies for the delay, and thank you for all those who have managed to stay on and awake throughout the whole meeting. We will be closing off here, and like we said, a email with all the information and links and presentation and the video will be sent to all the participants. Thank you very much for attending the conference. Assalamu alaikum.